Chapter 139 Star Domain Evolution Rankings, Founders Circle _2, The Mysterious Yellow Evolutionary Path. After 2 or 3 months of comprehension, Lin Yuan had progressed to 1/10 of the first-tier chapter of the Mysterious Yellow Evolutionary Path. What exactly is this evolutionary path? Even with my against heaven's understanding, I comprehend it so slowly. Other evolvers, even if ideally suited to cultivate this path, would find it as challenging as ascending to the heavens to fully comprehend it, right? Doubts surfaced in Lin Yuan's heart. Could it be that comprehending this evolutionary path requires some specific method? Or some sort of auxiliary means, an item? Lin Yuan thought to himself in silence. The Qikuan Star Lord had not provided him with a detailed introduction to the mysterious yellow evolutionary path, saying only to retreat for a while and discuss it after coming out. Stop the comprehension for now. Integrate the martial Tao evolutionary path. Lin Yuan collected his thoughts. Now that he was at the 4th rank 12 segments, essentially at the end of the 4th rank domain, he had the confidence to organize the 4th rank chapter of the martial Tao evolutionary path. Reviewing the path he had taken was very helpful for Lin Yuan. With his against heaven's understanding, new inspiration burst forth every moment. Half a day later, Lin Yuan opened his eyes again. It's about time. Lin Yuan let out a light breath. The 4th rank chapter of the martial Tao evolutionary path was essentially ready. Goddess of Wisdom. Lin Yuan connected to the Goddess of Wisdom, intending to upload the 4th rank chapter. As the disciple of the Star Lord and the peak master of the Red Kuan lineage's 13 peaks, Lin Yuan had not given up on publishing subsequent evolutionary paths. Firstly, not only was there income from the merit points, but also a sizable share of the revenue. Countless citizens of the Human Alliance, with each purchase of the martial Tao evolutionary path, Lin Yuan would receive a 30% cut. This income streamed in continuously and would increase as the martial Tao evolutionary path rose to higher levels. Secondly, as Lin Yuan joined the Red Kuan lineage and accessed more information, he realized that publicizing and spreading his own evolutionary path seemed to have a deeper meaning. Take the ancient gods' evolution path as an example. The ancient gods in the depths of the stars have existed since the beginning of the universe. They exist aloof without any ties to a race, enjoying freedom. Despite this, these ancient gods still spread the ancient gods' evolution path that mimics themselves. The official explanation given by the Human Alliance is that the evolvers of the ancient gods' evolution path, once deeply cultivated, may become vessels for the descent of those ancient gods. But how significant could such a weak vessel really be to an ancient god? Regardless, even the ancient gods are striving to disseminate their evolution paths. Lin Yuan continued to refine the martial Tao evolutionary path to broaden its reach. To say it had no benefits would be incorrect, but it definitively had no drawbacks. As Lin Yuan swiftly uploaded the content of the 4th rank chapter. In a mysterious space countless light years away from Kanglan Star. Huge screens flickered rapidly and colossal computational power frenetically assessed and extrapolated the value of the 4th rank chapter of the martial arts evolution system. The 4th rank chapter uploaded by Lin Yuan was mainly divided into 2 parts. The first part was within the divine arms world, consisting of 100 divine weapons representing deeper manifestations of the world's essential rules, more profound than the 3rd rank chapter. The second part was the over 100 evolutionary paths comprehended in the 7-star cave world, and the vast and abstruse mysterious yellow evolution path. A deeper engagement with the rules detected in the 4th rank chapter, commence re-evaluation of the potential of the martial path evolutionary path. Evaluation complete. The current martial path evolutionary path has a 10% chance of advancing to 5th rank evolutionary path, a 90% chance of advancing to 6th rank evolutionary path, and a 1% chance of advancing to 7th rank evolutionary path. The potential of advancing to 7th rank has been flagged, triggering Article 13 of the Charter. Contingency plans generated. 4 human citizen with ID number 123************. Security clearance elevated, and the Founder's virtual world. Activated. Commence evaluation of the 4th rank chapter's value. 100,000 merit points. No need to seek authorization from the nearest highest ranking citizen. After uploading the 4th rank chapter of the martial path evolutionary path, Lin Yuan began contemplating the path of the 5th rank. According to the standards set by human civilization, 5th rank evolvers are considered the strongest life forms on the surface of a planet. With their full force they can cause the tectonic plates to tear, leading to various natural disasters. 5th rank evolvers can wipe out all life on a life planet in a short time. Therefore, 5th rank evolvers are also referred to as continent sinking rank. The strongest evolvers of a middle grade life planet usually only reach the 5th rank. As for the 6th rank, without a special reason, it is rare for a 6th rank life to stay on a middle grade life planet for an extended period. Respected citizen Lin Yuan, after the final determination, your 4th rank chapter is worth 100,000 merit points. It was at this moment that the solemn and cold voice of the goddess of wisdom came through. 100,000 merit points? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Though it was within expectations, receiving such a high evaluation from the goddess of wisdom still made Lin Yuan feel delighted. 100,000 merit points. This meant that the value of the 4th rank chapter alone surpassed the combined value of the 1st tier chapter, the 2nd layer chapter, and the 3rd rank chapter that Lin Yuan had directly uploaded. 100,000 merit points, if placed on the battlefields of the human race's frontiers, who knows how many 5th rank and 6th rank beings of different species would need to be killed to exchange for such a vast amount of merit points? Let's have a look at the updated information on the Martial Path Evolutionary Path. Lin Yuan opened the network panel to check the section on Martial Path Evolutionary Path. A 10% chance to advance to the 7th rank evolution path? Certainty settled in Lin Yuan's heart. After assimilating the essence of over 100 6th rank evolution paths, along with 16 evolution paths that surpassed the 6th rank, and one unfathomable mysterious yellow evolution path, if the Martial Path Evolutionary Path still had no hope of advancing to the 7th rank evolution pathway, Lin Yuan really wouldn't know how else to reach the 7th rank. No rush, no rush, Lin Yuan steadied his mind. Although the current Martial Path Evolutionary Path only had a 10% chance of advancing to the 7th rank, that was because the Martial Path Evolutionary Path had only reached the 4th rank chapter thus far. In the future, once Lin Yuan developed the 5th stage section and the 6th rank chapter, the likelihood of advancing to the 7th rank would inevitably increase significantly. This was also the experience Lin Yuan had summed up after uploading the 1st tier chapter, the 2nd layer chapter, the 3rd rank chapter, and the 4th rank chapter. When it was the 2nd layer chapter, the Martial Path Evolutionary Path hardly had any hope of advancing to the 6th rank evolution path, but now, there was a 90% certainty of advancing to the 6th rank. Now, the ranking of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path is, a thought flickered in Lin Yuan's heart. As early as when the 3rd rank chapter was uploaded, the Martial Path Evolutionary Path had topped the evolution ranking, becoming the first. But this first place was on the Kanglin evolution ranking. The paths Lin Yuan had surpassed were all those born from Kanglin star. As for beyond Kanglin star, the Dawn star system, to say nothing of the Chiquin star domain. At least when Lin Yuan uploaded the 3rd rank chapter, he didn't rank anywhere on the star system evolution ranking or the star domain evolution ranking. In this respect, Lin Yuan didn't find it strange at all. When the 3rd rank chapter was uploaded, the potential limit of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path was the 6th rank evolution path. A 6th rank evolution path might be extremely rare on Kanglin star, a middle-grade life planet, but in the grand scheme of the entire Chiquin star domain, it was quite common. After all, the number of 6th rank fallen star warriors was there. As 6th rank evolvers, they definitely cultivated 6th rank evolution paths, or even ones that surpassed 6th rank. Martial Path Evolutionary Path Chiquin Star Domain Evolution Ranking, 100th place. Lin Yuan was slightly surprised to see the ranking of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path. In the Chiquin Star Domain Evolution Ranking, the top 100 were all 6th rank evolution paths, the top 50 were outright 7th rank evolution paths. Although the Martial Path Evolutionary Path also had the potential to surpass the 6th rank, it was ultimately not yet a 6th rank evolution path. The ranking of the evolution paths on the evolution ranking is determined based on multiple factors, including potential. The Martial Path Evolutionary Path, just at the 4th rank, has a 10% chance of advancing to the 7th rank, apparently outstripping many long-established 6th rank evolution paths in potential, Lin Yuan speculated internally. After checking the latest ranking of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path, Lin Yuan then looked at the new permissions and features unlocked after uploading the 4th rank chapter. Founders Virtual World Permissions Enabled. Founders? Lin Yuan became interested. The founders mentioned here must be the originators who pioneered various evolution paths. For human civilization, these founders are national treasure-like figures, and their identity information is considered top secret. And the founders' virtual world, surely, is a space provided for these founders to interact and discuss. Thinking this, Lin Yuan immediately activated the permissions and entered the founders' virtual world. Chapter 140 Level 5 Citizen, the 4th Shuttle, Chiquan Prime Virtual World. Central Plaza Area. For any planet-level virtual world, the Central Plaza area is always the most attention-grabbing place. Here stand the majestic and tall evolution rankings, gathering the strongest 100 evolutionary paths born from over 1 million life planets in this star domain. Even if the popularity of the Arena District surged due to tournament events, as soon as the tournaments ended, the Central Plaza area buzzed with activity once again. However, on this particular early morning, the 100th place on this star domain level evolution ranking quietly changed to a different evolutionary path. Damn. Look quick, the evolution rankings have changed. Immediately, evolvers noticed this and started discussing heatedly. Even if it was only the last 100th place, one must know that this is a star domain level evolution ranking, with each listed evolutionary path having emerged from countless others. The evolutionary paths ranked in the top 100 of the Chiquan evolution rankings, even the one in 100th place, are all of the most cutting-edge 6th rank, holding the hope of advancing to the 7th rank evolutionary pathway. The Martial Path evolutionary path? What kind of evolutionary path is that? Heavens, this evolutionary path, is it only 4th rank? A 4th rank evolutionary path surpassing a large number of 6th rank evolutionary paths to enter the Chiquan evolution rankings? The plaza was full of stunned people. The scope of the Chiquan evolution rankings includes the entire Chiquan star domain. Therefore, the rankings are often subject to change. With such a large population base, the probability of giving rise to top-notch 6th rank evolutionary paths also greatly increases. But even with frequent changes, even when breaking into the top 100, it should be the 6th rank evolutionary paths that make it. What the hell is a 4th rank evolutionary path? It was as if a group of students, all around 18 or 19 years old, just entered a higher educational institution, and suddenly an 8 or 9-year-old child appeared among them, making the other students feel somewhat awkward. The evolution rankings definitely don't make mistakes. They have been verified multiple times by the 3 goddesses, which means this 4th rank evolutionary path truly surpasses those top-tier 6th rank paths in the overall evaluation. Let me take a closer look. The Martial Path evolutionary path. Someone couldn't wait any longer and began pulling up more information about the Martial Path evolutionary path. The Martial Path evolutionary path originated on Kanglan Star, an ordinary middle-grade life planet in the Dawn Star system. When the Martial Path evolutionary path first appeared, it only had the first-tier chapter. Afterward, it updated the subsequent stages every 6 months or so. From the first-tier chapter to the present 4th rank chapter, the Martial Path evolutionary path has not been around for more than 5 years. And yet, merely the Martial Path evolutionary path of the 4th rank holds the potential to ascend to the 7th rank evolutionary pathway? Big shot. This must be the research achievement of some high-ranking evolver scholar from our human alliance. On the plaza, numerous evolvers and high-ranking citizens, although engaged in constant debate, shared a common viewpoint. That is, the founder of this evolutionary path must be some prestigious evolver scholar occupying a high position. Here one must mention a well-known fact. Generally speaking, founders of an evolutionary path fall into 2 categories. The first type is those who forge the path as they cultivate it, like Lin Yuan, who develops the evolutionary path to the same realm that he has cultivated to himself. However, such founders are extremely rare. As for the second type, they are those high-rank evolver scholars who, from a position of great authority, develop and create entirely new evolutionary paths. The latter represents the mainstream among the evolutionary path founders of the Human Alliance. After all, for high-rank evolvers to create new evolutionary paths, they have significant advantages in both experience and efficiency. Just like teachers in schools, even those teaching at the most basic level at least have a university degree if not a doctorate from a research institute. From a higher vantage point, it's easier to identify and solve problems. Because of this common knowledge, the vast majority on the plaza believed that the Martial Path evolutionary path was established by a seasoned evolver scholar. After all, the time interval for uploading from the first-tier chapter to the 4th rank chapter is too short. And it is also very regular. It resembles how those well-versed evolver scholars would release their research findings on a schedule. I want to see what makes this evolutionary path, based only on the first-tier chapter to the 4th rank chapter, crush those top-tier 6th rank evolutionary paths. Exactly, I've purchased the complete set and am studying it carefully. I finished reading it and decided to have my son cultivate this evolutionary path. After all, coming from the hands of an evolver scholar, it's certain to have follow-ups. In the Central Continent Manor on Kanglan Star, Lin Yuan was exploring the founder's virtual world. The Founder's virtual world has two modes. One is similar to the virtual world of the major planets. However, a prerequisite to entering the Founder's virtual world is to be a founder oneself, and the evolutionary path one has created must have the potential to advance to the 7th rank. In addition, even if what's created isn't an evolutionary path but rather another significant research achievement, as long as it meets the standards, one can also enter the Founder's virtual world. If one cannot meet the aforementioned criteria, then there is no access to this world. This leads to very few people in the Founder's virtual world. Although human civilization has quite a few 7th rank evolutionary pathways over the long years, most of their founders have died for various reasons. Chapter 141 Level 5 Citizen, the 4th Shuttle_2, the number of living founders can be imagined. Moreover, most founders are engrossed in various types of research and usually can't be bothered to stroll around the virtual world in their free time. Thus, there came the second mode of the Founder's virtual world. The Forum mode. This mode is incredibly primitive. It's where every founder can express their views or ask questions on the forum, for later generations to ponder or answer. Lin Yuan spent most of his time browsing in forum mode. After all, he had just entered the Founder's virtual world and was still a newcomer. It's too profound, Lin Yuan watched for a while and marveled. The posts on the forum were strange and varied. There was the possibility of traveling to a higher dimensional world. There was how many ways are there for an 8th layer evolver to advance to a 9th layer evolver. There was how to transplant those peak bloodlines from the universe such as Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan and others, onto the human race. After looking around, Lin Yuan felt he was still too young, having no significant achievements compared to those founders who had lived for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years. This question, suddenly Lin Yuan's expression changed. He stopped at a post. The description of this post was quite simple. It asked whether it was better for a high-rank evolver to fully comprehend one rule or to comprehend multiple rules at the same time. Evolvers' energy and time are limited. Comprehending one rule has its benefits, while comprehending multiple rules has its own advantages. The former allows one to understand a rule to a deeper level, while the latter's collision of various rules could bring additional surprises. Lin Yuan scrolled through the responses below the post. The earliest response was from 23,000 years ago. The gist was that it is certainly better to comprehend one rule. There were successive responses afterwards. Some evolvers believed that comprehending multiple rules holds a broader prospect. Over the past 20,000 years, people have been responding from time to time, debating with earlier comments. I can answer this one. Lin Yuan stroked his chin and after looking for a long time, he finally found something he understood. After carefully contemplating for a moment, Lin Yuan also replied below, comprehend a certain rule, and then use this Dao to govern all other Daos. The Taiji Dao created by Lin Yuan is based on this principle. No matter to what level Lin Yuan cultivates in the future, the foundation will always be Taiji, which is formed by the fusion of Taiyin and Taiyang. Beyond the foundation, there is no limit to the means Lin Yuan can master. Because Lin Yuan can comprehend all kinds of rules, and all the rules are supplementing the Dao of Taiji. Taiji gives birth to all things. With Taiji command all the other Daos. After browsing a little longer, Lin Yuan exited the Founder's virtual world. The 4th rank chapter sold so many copies? Lin Yuan glanced at the share situation and found that in just a few hours, the 4th rank chapter he had just uploaded had already sold nearly 100 copies. You should know. Lin Yuan had priced the 4th rank chapter at 50 million civilization coins. Currently, for the various stages of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path, 1st tier chapter, 10,000. 2nd layer chapter, 500,000. 3rd rank chapter, 5 million. 4th rank chapter, 50 million. Are 50 million a lot? Definitely a lot. This is a fortune that ordinary citizens can only look up to. But for an evolver, it's something that can be afforded. In human civilization, evolvers cultivate the evolution path in stages. For example, a 1st rank evolver would only temporarily purchase the evolution path's 1st tier chapter. As for the 2nd layer chapter, it would be considered only after cultivating to the 1st rank 12th segment. The 4th rank chapter of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path is aimed at evolvers who have cultivated to the 3rd rank 12th segment. It's not difficult for an evolver at the limit of the 3rd rank to come up with 50 million. But now, there isn't even a 3rd rank evolver cultivating the Martial Path Evolutionary Path, let alone one at the 12th segment of the 3rd rank. It must be the exposure from the star domain rankings. When he had just uploaded the 3rd rank chapter and topped the Kanglin evolution ranking, there was also a surge of purchases for the full stages of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path. Now the martial path evolutionary path. Lin Yuan glanced at the current number of practitioners of the martial path evolutionary path. First tier chapter, 26,783 people. Second layer chapter, 394 people. Third rank chapter, 0. Not bad. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. When the third rank chapter was uploaded, not a single person had cultivated to the second layer. In just over half a year, nearly 400 people had stepped into the second layer. Lin Yuan speculated that this might be because the martial path evolutionary path had further spread, and those citizens who were cultivating it had good innate conditions, which was why they had made such rapid progress. The martial path evolutionary path did not rely heavily on external resources or environment. But that meant even without high-quality resources and environments, one could still cultivate this evolution path. If more resources were available for use, undoubtedly, the pace of martial Tao cultivation could be accelerated. 100,000 merit points can elevate a citizen's rank to the 5th level. Lin Yuan glanced at his accumulated merit points. 149,000 merit points. And the merit points required for a 4th level citizen to advance to 5th level was 50,000. Promote. Lin Yuan did not hesitate. He immediately chose to promote. After a few breaths, Lin Yuan successfully advanced to a 5th level citizen. Compared to a 4th level citizen, a 5th level citizen had more privileges. One of them included the ability to mobilize a fleet of warships, used to ensure one's own safety. Warship fleet. Lin Yuan looked at the many new authorities he had gained. If he wished, he could at any time draw a warship fleet from the Dawn Star System's main star to be stationed permanently outside Kanglin's star to protect him. Forget it. No point. Lin Yuan pondered for a while and decided not to use this authority. Currently, he had a 6th rank evolver and 12 5th rank evolvers for personal protection, as well as 3 life-saving tokens bestowed by the Star Lord. Having a fleet of warships come over wouldn't make much of a difference. Besides, it could easily draw other people's attention. After all, the commotion caused by a fleet of warships would be much greater than when Ho Ming and the others came over. It would be impossible to hide. Time passed. 10 days later. Lin Yuan suddenly opened his eyes. I can make the 4th traverse now. Lin Yuan felt slightly excited in his heart. At this moment, deep in his mind, the majestic gate of light on the periphery had been completely illuminated. This meant that Lin Yuan could traverse at any time now. Let's try again. Lin Yuan concentrated in front of the gate of light, while also extending a wisp of his mind beyond it. This would allow Lin Yuan to know in advance some general information about the world he would traverse to. During the 3rd traverse, Lin Yuan had used this method to learn in advance that the world he was crossing into was related to arms, along with details such as the general flow of time in the traverse world. Moments later, the wisp of consciousness Lin Yuan had sent out entered the gate of light. Boom. This wisp of consciousness arrived in a vast world. This world was about 10 times the size of the Divine Arms world, and at a glance, it was divided into 5 continents, each continent being the size of several Kanglin stars. Warfare. Disaster. Lin Yuan faintly sensed limitless warfare and disaster from this world. The next instant, the wisp of consciousness turned to dust. In the outside world, Lin Yuan's face sank into thought. From the brief contact earlier, Lin Yuan had received some information about the world he was about to traverse into. The first was the duration of stay. This time Lin Yuan could stay for 200 years. Next was the time flow speed. 200 years in the traverse world would be half a month in the main world. 200 years. The duration of stay for this traverse was a bit longer than that in the Divine Arms world, but compared to the previous traverses, the increase was actually lower. Warfare. Disaster. Lin Yuan thought of the aura he had just sensed. Next, Lin Yuan informed Ho Ming, the captain of the 6th rank guard troops, that he would go into seclusion for half a month and not to allow anyone to disturb him during this period. He then approached the nutrient pod. These 3 tokens. Lin Yuan made sure to place the 3 life-saving tokens on his person, and he lay down in the nutrient pod. Immediately, his consciousness returned to the depths of his mind. New world, here I come. Lin Yuan exhaled softly, confirming there were no other omissions, and with a thought, the door to the myriad realms emitted a suction, drawing all his consciousness into the door. Chapter 142 Desperate Realm, 10 years, please subscribe, Northern Region Great Abyss. In the harsh winter, like a prison, water droplets turn to ice. This is the place of suppression for a generation's great supervillain. Ever since the supervillain Xiahou Yuan was defeated by Tianjianzi 5 years ago, he has been sealed here. Tianjianzi, out of empathy for the world, Even though the great supervillain Xiahou Yuan's crimes were heinous, being the leader of countless villains in the 5 domains, still did not bring himself to kill him. 18 layers beneath the great abyss, a gaunt figure sat there. His chest pierced by black chains, his limbs also bound by those chains. Every chain was covered with dense patterns, which vaguely isolated heaven and earth, suppressing everything. Xiahou, I'm sorry. Qing'er, why did you betray me? What's so good about joining Tianjinzi? Could he give you a status above all others? Xiahou, that's not true. I'm not the Qing'er you speak of. The descendants of the Bai family have long since perished. I merely borrowed the Bai family's bloodline to get close to you. My real name isn't Bai Qing'er. Do you remember when you were hunted, critically wounded, and on the brink of death? It was I who saved you, who performed the marrow cleansing for you. Xiahou, that too was a lie. The ones who hunted me did it all for you to see. When your cultivation went awry, I used the fruits of heaven and earth to save your life. That was all fake. I did it on purpose to let you discover that my blood and aura were related to the Bai family, to make you believe that I was a descendant of the Bai family. I made you the demon queen, granting you the power to command the villains of the 5 domains, above millions of living beings. Xiahou, you are a supervillain, the source of chaos in this world. Because of you, villains from the 5 domains have gathered. If you don't die, the masses will perish. 18 layers beneath the great abyss, Xiahou Yuan sat there, the past events flickering through his mind like a fast-forwarding scene. No one knew that the supervillain Xiahou Yuan had an ordinary background, born in a regular village. At the age of 10 he stumbled into a cave and acquired a demonic Tao heritage. However, when Xiahou Yuan returned to his village, he found that everyone had been slaughtered by a passing supervillain. Since then, Xiahou Yuan completely stood against the supervillains. Xiahou Yuan had exceptional aptitude in cultivation, advancing to the 4th realm by solely relying on that demonic Tao heritage. During this time, Xiahou Yuan also dedicated himself to hunting down major supervillains. But soon, Xiahou Yuan realized that supervillains couldn't be exterminated. Even if he wiped out all the villains in the world, within 50 to 100 years, a new generation of supervillains would emerge. Because the methods of the demonic Tao, despite inherent risks, are shortcuts compared to the orthodox Taoist cultivation practices. As long as there are living beings, there will be those who can't control themselves and embark on the path of the demonic Tao. Hence, Xiahou Yuan thought of another way. If supervillains can't be killed off, then he would become the strongest among them, and lay down laws for all supervillains, thus limiting the harm they cause to the most stable range possible. However, Xiahou Yuan overlooked the righteous forces. As he was unifying the 5-domain demonic path, in the eyes of the righteous forces, he became a thorn in their side. Originally, the demonic path of the 5 domains was scattered, posing no great threat to the righteous ones. Besides, it was civilians who died, not them. But now, with the demonic path of the 5 domains on the verge of unification, how could they tolerate it? Thus, the earth-shaking battle between the righteous and the demonic happened 5 years ago. Originally, with the power of Xiahou Yuan, even if he lost, he should have been able to retreat in one piece. But he had overlooked Qing'er, his companion of many decades. Qing'er, in Xiahou Yuan's lifeless eyes, a trace of tenderness appeared. Even though he had been betrayed by Qing'er, resulting in his current state, Xiahou Yuan never bore any resentment toward Qing'er. Just don't know, without me will the world be as Tianjinzi wished, a land of peace? The vitality of Xiahou Yuan grew weaker and weaker. With his qi sealed and primordial spirit suppressed, on top of losing the will to live, his life force was rapidly fleeing. As he neared complete obliteration, suddenly, a consciousness descended. Lin Yuan blinked in surprise, immediately feeling endless pain surging from where his chest's breastbone and limbs were located. What kind of start is this? Lin Yuan inhaled sharply, only to feel the pain intensifying several-fold. This made Lin Yuan dare not move, his breathing even cautious. Soon, Lin Yuan quickly went through Xiahou Yuan's memories, one of the top powerhouses in the world, someone most likely to break through to the 9th realm, ending up in such a predicament after losing the battle 5 years ago? If it weren't for me, Xiahou Yuan would have been dead by now. Lin Yuan sensed his Bodhi's extreme weakness. But since I'm here, everything is different. What you, Xiahou Yuan, dare not face, I will face for you. Outside of the great abyss, over a dozen guards did their round and, finding no anomalies, gathered to chat. The northern region is a land of bitter cold, and the great abyss is even more so, a veritable no-man's land. If it weren't for the duty of guarding Xiahou Yuan, who had been sealed below, who would want to stay in such a place? In fact, to call it guarding was merely a formality. they were just confirming that Xiahou Yuan imprisoned below hadn't died. In the prison of the Great Abyss, outsiders cannot enter and those inside cannot leave. It's just like Xiahou Yuan to have survived 5 years without dying, commented a man with triangular eyes among the guards. Although they dare not venture to the 18th layer underground, they have means to confirm whether Xiahou Yuan is dead or alive. Chapter 143 Desperate Realm, 10 years, please subscribe. _2 This was the contingency left behind by Tianjianzi when he sealed Xiahou Yuan in this place years ago. I heard that 5 years ago the battle between Xiahou Yuan and Tianjianzi shattered the heavens and split the earth, and in the end Tianjianzi used the Tianjian sect's ultimate technique to crush the demonic Tao true body of Xiahou Yuan. Another guard whispered. In this bitterly cold place, their only pleasure was to discuss the legendary great demon Xiahou Yuan. After all, he was imprisoned right beneath their feet. I've heard another version saying that Jianghu by Xiahou Yuan's side was actually Tianjianzi's childhood sweetheart, and it was precisely because of Qinghao's betrayal that Xiahou Yuan was defeated and sealed. The third guard couldn't help but chime in. Impossible? What kind of person is Tianjianzi? Holding the righteous power of the world, how could he resort to such a tactic? Indeed, I also think it's impossible. Even if Tianjianzi defeated Xiahou Yuan back then, he did not kill him but instead sealed him here to live a lingering and miserable life. Facing such a fierce and evil demon like Xiahou Yuan, even the venerable Tianjianzi harbored a compassionate and reformative heart, so how could he possibly employ such despicable tactics? One after another, the guards voiced their opinions. Many of them greatly admired Tianjianzi and naturally did not allow others to speculate like that. Compassionate? Sympathetic to the world? All bullshit. On the 18th level underground, Lin Yuan's face revealed a sneer. Tianjianzi hadn't killed him simply because he feared the demonic secret technique Xiahou Yuan mastered, soul out-of-body parasitism skill. This demonic Tao secret technique is akin to the seizure technique. When the physical body dies, the primordial spirit would escape, finding a suitable carrier to parasitize. The primordial spirit, being a concentration of mental and spiritual power, is not a physical entity and thus is difficult to restrain and deal with. If Tianjianzi had killed Xiahou Yuan during the battle 5 years ago, it would have been difficult to stop the escaping primordial spirit of Xiahou Yuan. If he had let Xiahou Yuan's primordial spirit escape, it would be tantamount to the battle being fought in vain, as Xiahou Yuan would recover his full strength and return after decades or even a century. So, Tianjianzi thought of a method. That was to seal Xiahou Yuan's body, confine his primordial spirit within his body, and suppress his body under the Great Abyss, seeking to literally torture Xiahou Yuan to death. This method proved effective. Just 5 years had passed and Xiahou Yuan could no longer endure it. If it weren't for Lin Yuan's arrival, he would probably already be dead. Qing'er, having observed Xiahou Yuan's situation, Lin Yuan discovered the primary culprit behind Xiahou Yuan's current plight. In fact, even if confronted with Qing'er's betrayal with Xiahou Yuan's capabilities, there was a great chance for him to escape. At most, the price paid would be greater. It was just that at that moment Xiahou Yuan was utterly despaired. Qing'er's betrayal had somewhat shattered his state of mind, so he did not make any resistance. Foolish. Such a strong figure, and yet to be bewildered by such low-level emotions. Lin Yuan furrowed his brows. At his peak, Xiahou Yuan was a peak powerhouse of the 9th realm. And the peak of the 9th realm is almost equivalent to a 4th-rank evolver of the main world. If Xiahou Yuan had had a strong will to survive 5 years ago, it would have been impossible for him to be suppressed here, and Lin Yuan wouldn't be in his current predicament. Forget it. Lin Yuan began to ponder. The Great Abyss is an incredibly mystical place, not only a forbidden zone for ordinary people but also to those powerful cultivators. Because the deeper one goes into the Great Abyss, the more the cultivator's mastered powers will be suppressed. 18 layers of the Great Abyss are enough to turn the powerhouses of the 7th and 8th realm into ordinary people. Of course, none of this posed a problem for Lin Yuan. What really troubled Lin Yuan were the 6 black chains that locked his body. Of these 6 black chains, 2 pierced through his sternum while 4 secured his limbs. The chains were made from deep-sea millennium fine gold, which even peak powerhouses of the 9th realm could hardly damage. On the surface of the fine gold, there were even more secret scripts from the heritage of the Tianjin sect. Just these 6 black chains alone completely restrained Lin Yuan. The slightest movement brought endless pain. Besides the chains, Lin Yuan's physical body and soul and spirit were also heavily sealed by secret techniques. The reason Tianjianzi dared to imprison Xiahou Yuan under the Great Abyss was that he was certain there was no possibility of escape. With so many sealing techniques, Xiahou Yuan indeed couldn't escape. Lin Yuan sighed. But he was not Xiahou Yuan. After pondering for a moment, Lin Yuan immediately thought of several methods. First was to reduce as much as possible the 6 black chains suppression on his body and soul and spirit. Only in this way could Lin Yuan have a chance to regain his strength. Once he returned to the 4th rank, even if not the 12th segment, leaving the Great Abyss would be more than possible. In the Swallowing Sky evolution path, there is a swallowing method that can transform the heterogeneous energy of the world into one's own. I use the method of Taiji to operate this technique, slowly swallowing the essence of the deep-sea fine gold within the black chains. As long as the deep-sea fine gold turns into scrap metal, the secret script engraved on it will naturally become rootless water, unable to suppress me. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. The Swallowing Sky evolution path is a beyond 6th rank evolution path of the 7-star cave world. It is extremely eerie and can affect the minds of evolvers. But it must be said, this evolution path is indeed powerful, and even in such a dire situation Lin Yuan could make use of it. Let's begin. Lin Yuan closed his eyes, slowly circulated his internal qi and blood, enduring immense pain while slowly eroding the 6 black chains. Using the most basic method of qi and blood circulation, indeed it did not trigger the backlash of the soul and spirit seal. Lin Yuan steadied his mind. His physical body and soul and spirit were heavily sealed by secret techniques. If he used even a little power he would encounter backlash. But now, merely circulating basic qi and blood apparently did not meet the requirements for backlash. After all, the circulation of basic qi and blood is too common. As long as one is alive and breathing, the qi and blood are slowly circulating. Initially, Tianjianzi's idea was to grind Xiahou Yuan to death but naturally left behind a way to live. Outside the Great Abyss, 2 guardians were slowly approaching the entrance. One guardian was large and the other was small. The larger one was a middle-aged man with a face full of beard. The smaller one was only in his early 20s, his face still showing traces of immaturity. Is this the Great Abyss? It's terrifying. The smaller guardian, named Xiaoxi, was a 2nd realm cultivator. His expression was heavy, as if under immense pressure. They hadn't even entered the Great Abyss yet. Just approaching it made Xiaoxi feel as if his qi and blood were nearly immersing. For ordinary people, every step would involve a great pressure. One can imagine. The Xiahou Yuan suppressed at the deepest part of the Great Abyss, at the 18th underground layer, what kind of terrifying pressure he must be enduring every moment. Keep your voice down. The bearded middle-aged man said softly beside him. For some reason, the closer they got to the entrance of the Great Abyss, they felt a mental pressure in addition to the physical one. Maybe because the one held inside was that legendary demon. A person's reputation mirrors them. Even though it's been 5 years. Even though they knew this legendary demon was no longer as he was. Even though they could now trample this legendary demon under their feet. That fear instilled deep in their souls still lingered. It was like sheep encountering a tiger. Even though the tiger was about to die of old age, they dared not approach. Moments later, the 2 arrived at the entrance of the Great Abyss. They cautiously observed the area in front of the entrance. On the pitch-black stone lantern there, a small flame was burning slowly inside. Xiahou Yuan is alive, said the bearded middle-aged man. This lantern, left by Tianjianzi, could always sense Xiahou Yuan's life status at the 18th layer underground. If Xiahou Yuan completely died, and his soul and spirit perished, the flame inside the lantern would extinguish. As the flame was still burning, it indicated Xiahou Yuan was not dead. Not dead, Xiaoxi shrank his head. He couldn't imagine how Xiahou Yuan managed to survive until now at the deepest part of the Great Abyss without any food supply. Let's go. After confirming the status of the lantern, the bearded middle-aged man immediately led Xiaoxi back. Just like that. It was suddenly 10 years later. Chapter 144 The Big Villain comes out. Please subscribe. Name, Xiahou Yuan Lin Yuan. Identity, holder of the Myriad Realms Gate, bound talent, heaven-defying comprehension. Current status, consciousness descent. Remaining residence time, 290 years, the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, glancing at the illusory characters below his line of sight. Unknowingly, Lin Yuan had been in this realm for 10 years through consciousness descent. In those 10 years, Lin Yuan hadn't moved at all, focusing solely on eroding the 6 black chains that surrounded him. As for why he hadn't starved to death. In this realm's cultivation system, by reaching the 7th realm, one could absorb heavenly earth vital energy to achieve fasting. Within the Great Abyss, although the heavenly earth vital energy was extremely scarce, it was not completely absent. Moreover, with Lin Yuan's consciousness descent, it was natural for him not to starve to death. Besides, Tianjianzi would not allow Xiahou Yuan to starve to death. The physical body starving to death didn't mean the annihilation of the primordial spirit. Only if Xiahou Yuan actively sought death, would he truly die. 10 years, Lin Yuan sighed. Finally, Lin Yuan slowly rose to his feet. At the same time, the 2 black chains that pierced through Lin Yuan's clavicle silently turned into a fine dust. The other 4 black chains that bound his limbs likewise shattered inch by inch. 10 years' time. Lin Yuan hadn't stopped eroding and devouring the black chains for a single moment. And today at last the 6 black chains that suppressed him were completely resolved. Freedom is good, Lin Yuan took a deep breath. Having lost the suppression of the 6 black chains, Lin Yuan finally dared to breathe deeply. The 6 chains of Millennium Deep Sea Essence surprisingly caused my physical body to shed and evolve several levels. A hint of wonder flashed across Lin Yuan's face. With the secret techniques of swallowing and conversion from the swallowing sky evolution path, he constantly transformed the essence from the deep sea metal into evolution, without rest for 10 years, leading to significant enhancements in Lin Yuan's physical body. This was indeed an unexpected joy. Outside the Great Abyss, the numerous guards had not yet departed. As long as Xiahou Yuan lived, these guardians could not leave. Of course, the guards were rotated yearly, for the northern region was bitterly cold, and the Great Abyss was even worse, the northernmost of the northern region. If not for the rewards promised by the Tianjin sect, and the ability to rotate back after a year, no cultivator would be willing to come here. This Xiahou Yuan hasn't died yet. At the entrance, Zhao Si, who could now handle things on his own, brought a new guardian to check the stone lantern. When he noticed that the flame inside the lantern was still burning slowly, he couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder. In the past 10 years he had rotated 3 times, relying on guarding the Great Abyss to obtain the rewards bestowed by the Tianjin sect. Zhao Si had reached the 4th realm. Even so, standing outside the Great Abyss he still felt suppressed. He could only move step by step, almost like an ordinary person. Yet 10 years had passed and the legendary great demon Xiahou Yuan was still alive. If not for the fact that this stone lantern was left by Tianjianzi, the world's strongest, Zhao Si almost doubted whether the lantern was malfunctioning. This Xiahou Yuan in his day was a calamity on all sides, a genuine great demon. Sect leader Tianjin, Zhao Si, following routine, informed the new guardian next to him about Xiahou Yuan's utterly evil deeds. Uncle Zhao, you say that with Xiahou Yuan suppressed here, the demons of the 5 domains would behave and not cause chaos. But over these years in my hometown, we've often seen traces of demons and several villages have been slaughtered. This new guardian spoke with a tone of confusion. He had heard from his elders that more than a decade ago, when the great demon Xiahou Yuan was still around, the demonic Tao forces of the 5 domains were unprecedented, but such large-scale slaughter of villages rarely happened. Zhao Si suddenly felt a bit silent upon hearing this. It wasn't just the new guardian who was puzzled. He too had heard plenty of such incidents. Having lost Xiahou Yuan, the chief of demonic Tao, it was as if the demons from the 5 domains had lost their shackles, and had completely gone mad. Of course, the forces of righteous path led by the Tianjin sect constantly deployed disciples to annihilate these demons. But it hardly made any difference. Even if demons were exterminated, it was likely that within a few years or a decade, new demons would arise. And most of these new demons were once those who had set out to eliminate them. These individuals had obtained some demonic Tao heritage or techniques and eventually couldn't resist the temptation to cultivate them on their own. It couldn't be helped. The demonic Tao cultivation methods were too alluring. They were practically like cheating. Normal cultivation methods required years of arduous cultivation to break through from the 1st realm to the 2nd realm, and one also needed a good natural aptitude. What about demonic Tao cultivation methods? No arduous cultivation needed, no aptitude required. One merely needed to know how to kill. The blood, energy, and souls of living beings were like great tonics for a demonic Tao cultivator. Don't think too much about it. Now that these demons are so rampant, you can imagine how much more dire the situation would be if Xiahou Yuan were still around, Zhao Si consoled. He was comforting the new guardian, but it was more like he was consoling himself. A bold and presumptuous thought had crept into his mind. Perhaps Tianjianzi should have never suppressed Xiahou Yuan. If Xiahou Yuan had been around, the situation in the 5 domains, even if not alleviated, could not have worsened to the current extent, could it? The 18th layer underground. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Next, it's time to restore my strength, Lin Yuan pondered to himself. While the 6 black chains were present, both Lin Yuan's physical body and primordial spirit were suppressed. Let alone cultivating, even the slightest movement was excruciatingly painful. But now, free from the suppression of the 6 black chains, regaining strength became much easier. Even in the deepest part of the Great Abyss, where all laws withered and ordinary 7th and 8th realm powerhouses would have 90% of their strength suppressed while here. Chapter 145 The Big Devil Comes Out. Please subscribe. _2 But for Lin Yuan it was not a difficult task. Moreover, in the past 10 years, Lin Yuan had devoted all his energy to eroding the black chains. Yet, he had not forgotten his enlightenment. In those 10 years, Lin Yuan had essentially assimilated more than 100 evolutionary paths of the 7-star cave world. Even the Xin Huang evolutionary path, he had comprehended it to 8/10 of the 2nd layer chapter. It's a pity I don't have any magical treasures to aid me. Regaining strength was not difficult. Reaching the realm was merely a matter of accumulating energy. If he could bring over the scarlet spirit liquid from the main world, Lin Yuan would only need half a day or even just a few hours to restore his full strength. But without the scarlet spirit liquid and other rare treasures, he could only honestly recover slowly. Of course, Lin Yuan's slow recovery was relative to taking the scarlet spirit liquid. If compared to other cultivators, even those demons with strange progressions, the two simply couldn't be compared. They weren't on the same level at all. Time passed once again. Another 10 years went by. Northern region. On a hill near the Great Abyss. More than a dozen figures stood, gazing towards the distant Great Abyss. Lord above, the one leading was a woman, her gaze icy cold, standing there quietly. Nuan the Protector. At that moment, a figure dressed in black quickly approached. Bowing respectfully to the woman, he said, Moyang Demon Lord said he is currently facing a chase from the Tianjin sect and cannot meet up with us in time. This guy, a hint of murderous intent flashed in Nuan's eyes. Facing a chase from the Tianjin sect? With the strength of Moyang Demon Lord at the 9th realm, if he truly wanted to escape, unless Tianjin and more than a dozen other righteous 9th realm experts joined forces and set up a killing formation, they couldn't even bother him. Back when the Lord was around, each of these demon lords was so eager to please, almost willing to die for him. Now that they've been sealed by that despicable Tianjin, none of them even thinks of rescuing. Nuan's face showed anger, yet she sighed in her heart. People of the demonic Tao who isn't selfish. Hoping they would rescue Xiahou Yuan without expecting anything in return was unrealistic. But Nuan knew Moyang True Monarch once owed Xiahou Yuan numerous great favors. Ordinarily, he should have at least shown some willingness. It's all that bitch Bai Qing'er's fault. I warned the Lord many times back then, asking him to be wary of this bitch. Nuan was clear about the inside story of that earth-shattering righteous versus demonic battle 25 years ago. If it weren't for Bai Qing'er stabbing the Lord in the back, it was uncertain who would have won or lost. We can't wait any longer. Even without Moyang Demon Lord, I must try again. Nuan made up her mind. It had been 25 years since Xiahou Yuan was sealed in the depths of the Great Abyss ground. In this long time, Nuan really worried that Xiahou Yuan wouldn't hold on. Outside the Great Abyss, Zhao Si and several guardians were patrolling. Just then, more than a dozen figures rapidly rushed towards this place. Even though being close to the Great Abyss, they were somewhat suppressed. Yet, the speed of these figures was still extremely fast. Not good. It's those remnants of the demonic Tao. Zhao Si, with his wealth of experience, immediately knew what was happening. The fact that Xiahou Yuan was sealed in the depths of the Great Abyss was no secret. So it led to a group of demonic remnants attempting a rescue every so often. Demonic remnants? The newcomer guardian beside him suddenly shocked. Just as he mustered the courage to block the rapidly approaching group of demonic remnants. What are you trying to do? Before the new guardian could rush out, he was pulled back by Zhao Si. Huh? A million questions rose in the mind of the new guardian. These remnants are fearless of death. Are you rushing to your death? Zhao Si immediately led all the guardians to quickly retreat. Only when they reached a safe position, did Zhao Si stop. Looking afar towards the entrance of the Great Abyss, the group of demonic remnants were now standing outside the entrance, continuously trying something. Uncle Zhao, are we just going to watch from here? The newcomer guardian was somewhat unable to accept this. Don't worry, they can't break through the entrance of the Great Abyss. Zhao Si seemed much calmer. Such events occurred every few years. However, the Great Abyss was jointly constructed back then by Tianjianzi along with many other righteous strongmen. Xiahou Yuan was confined in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground. Starting from the first layer at the entrance all the way to the deepest 18th layer. Each layer's door was made from profound gold, and the deeper the doors the more durable they were. Over the years, despite all the efforts of these demonic remnants, they couldn't even break the first layer door, let alone rescue Xiahou Yuan. I've already contacted Jianghu. He'll arrive in at most half an hour, continued Zhao Si. Jianghu was specifically responsible for guarding the Great Abyss as an 8th realm expert. However, because the area around the Great Abyss was filled with extreme suppressive power, Jianghu usually stationed himself 100 li away from the Great Abyss. Otherwise, Jianghu could not practice normally. If something happened at the Great Abyss, Zhao Si just needed to contact him in the agreed manner, and Jianghu would arrive in a very short time. Outside the entrance of the Great Abyss, Nuan, the protector, took out a gourd and poured the sticky liquid inside over the entrance gate. Sizzling. A puff of blue smoke emerged. The surface of the entrance gate corroded, revealing a faint golden interior. Damn it. Seeing this, Nuan instantly felt somewhat desperate. The sticky liquid in the gourd was known as the dissolver of all things, even the hardest substances would quickly disappear under this kind of liquid. Chapter 146 The Big Demon Comes Out, please subscribe. _3 Protector Nuan had thought that the profound gold, constructed entrance to the Great Abyss would be countered by the Mother Water. But now it seemed she had been too optimistic. My lord, Protector Nuan's right hand was placed against the entrance to the Great Abyss. This was the closest distance she had been to Xiahou Yuan. Useless. Protector Nuan's eyes began to redden slightly. Time's almost up, wait a little longer and that Jiang Sword's master should arrive. The man beside her suddenly spoke. Jiang Sword's master. Protector Nuan took a deep breath. Moyang Demon Lord. If Moyang Demon Lord were here, he could have deterred the Jiang Sword's master and bought her more time. My lord, hold on a little longer. I will return soon. After saying this, Protector Nuan led her followers away quickly. As time passed, the truly loyal minions to Xiahou Yuan became fewer and fewer. Therefore, Protector Nuan absolutely couldn't let her followers die in vain. The Jiang Sword's master was a formidable foe of the 8th realm. If they were intercepted by him, it would be difficult for them to retreat unharmed. And as Protector Nuan, a remnant of the demonic Tao, left, the many guards who had been stationed at a distance now began to approach. Look at that. These remnants of the demonic Tao can't do anything to the profound gold entrance gate. Zhao Si carefully inspected the entrance gate and finding only a thin outer layer slightly melted, grinned and laughed. Haha, these remnants of the demonic Tao are completely ignorant of their own limitations. This entrance gate, crafted personally by sect leader Tianjianzi and a host of powerful figures, even if they breach the first layer, there are still 17 more. Dream on if you think you can rescue Xiahou Yuan. In my opinion, even if Xiahou Yuan were unharmed and at peak combat power, he couldn't possibly break through the Great Abyss 18 layers of gates. The numerous guards spoke with great confidence in their voices about the entrance gate. They even believed that Xiahou Yuan couldn't escape even if he regained all his strength. Suddenly, at that moment, crack, crack, crack. Muffled sounds of breaking echoed faintly. Oh? What's that sound? Zhao Si, with his sharp senses, immediately noticed something. The other guards were also slightly startled and exchanged glances. It seems to be coming from the entrance gate, a faint voice spoke up, belonging to a new guard. At this moment, his eyes widened as he stared straight at the entrance gate to the Great Abyss. What did you say? Zhao Si's heart tensed. He turned his head to look quickly. But with that glance, Zhao Si saw a scene he would never forget. The previously intact entrance gate to the Great Abyss, from inside out, began to show crack after crack. The cracks spread and divided, growing rapidly. In an instant they covered the whole gate. That's bad. Zhao Si's heartbeat nearly stopped. Before he could speak, the entrance gate to the Great Abyss burst open with a roar. Countless pieces of profound gold, like meteors, shot out in all directions. But nobody was paying attention to these fragments. Their gazes were all fixed on the now empty entrance to the Great Abyss. Then came soft footsteps, slow and prolonged, from deep within the Great Abyss ground. Under the shocked gaze of the onlookers, a figure in tattered clothes slowly emerged. The figure initially raised a hand to shield his eyes, seemingly finding the light a bit too harsh. Freedom. The figure took a deep breath, and all the heavenly earth vital energy within a radius of tens of miles, willingly or not, was drawn into him. Chapter 147 Shaking of the Five Domains, please subscribe. Finally out. Lin Yuan's eyes slightly narrowed, savoring the breath of freedom. Even before his arrival, Xiahou Yuan had already been suppressed for 5 years. Lin Yuan himself had spent 20 years on the 18th layer underground. During those 20 years, the first 10 were the most torturous, constantly suppressed by 6 black chains. The next 10 years he escaped the clutches of the black chains, but still had to endure the omnipresent suppression deep within the great abyss. 20 long years without freedom, without entertainment, only endless darkness and cold. If replaced by the evolvers from the main world who were merely a couple hundred years old, their state of mind would probably have collapsed already. This had nothing to do with strength, it was purely a test of will and spirit. Fortunately, Lin Yuan had traversed it 3 times, his mental endurance sufficiently honed. Only then could he support himself and walk out in the most secure and safest way. 20 years ago, Lin Yuan thought of multiple ways to escape suppression, not just one. Besides operating on his own vital blood and energy to erode the black chains, there were several other shortcuts, such as voluntarily activating the soul out-of-body parasitism skill, allowing his primordial spirit to escape and seek a new host. Tianjianzi had placed multiple seals on Xiahou Yuan's physical primordial spirit. Xiahou Yuan couldn't break through, but that didn't mean Lin Yuan couldn't. However, the escape of the primordial spirit carried great risks, and the new host might not be compatible with the primordial spirit. Thus, Lin Yuan eventually chose the most tormenting method. The most tormenting but also the safest and most complication-free. Breathe a few more times. Lin Yuan sucked dry the heavenly earth vital energy within 100 miles, feeling his body moisturized as if drought-stricken land met sweet rain. On the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, Lin Yuan spent 10 years to recover to the peak of the 9th realm, which was Xiahou Yuan's full strength. However, breaking the gate of the 18th layer had exhausted some of his power. Now that he had the chance, he naturally continued to recover. After all, Xiahou Yuan's peak strength did not represent Lin Yuan's peak strength. But for Lin Yuan, the strength of the 9th realm peak already made him fearless. The same knife, in the hands of an ordinary person versus a master of the blade, the deterrence is naturally different. With Lin Yuan's mastery and control of power, alongside his numerous secret techniques, if Tianjianzi from 25 years ago dared to appear before him, he would be suppressed within dozens of moves. Compared to Lin Yuan's joy of escaping, the guardians led by Xiaoxi were trembling and weak at the knees. My God, who did they see? Xiahou Yuan from 25 years ago, the legendary demon who oppressed the people of the 5 domains? Could they face someone like that? Xiaoxi's mind was a mess. These guardians couldn't even handle the remnants of the demonic Tao, let alone the legendary demon himself. It's over. Xiaoxi sat down on the ground, without the thought of running away. Are you kidding? Even though he didn't know the current state of this legendary demon, even if weak, facing them, small fries from the 3rd and 4th realm, a mere glance would suffice. If they turned to run now, it would only hasten their deaths. Xiaoxi and the other guardians bowed their heads, not daring to even glance at Lin Yuan, afraid to catch the attention of this great demon. Miles away, the protector, Nuan, who was about to retreat with a group from the demon crowd, noticed the disturbance at the entrance of the abyss. She subconsciously looked back to investigate. My lord, Protector Nuan was instantly stunned. Even after 25 years of not seeing him, she recognized at first glance the towering figure standing at the entrance of the abyss. My lord, the other members of the demon crowd widened their eyes. Among them, many had never seen Xiahou Yuan, but since Protector Nuan was so sure, no one doubted it. Whoosh! Protector Nuan didn't think twice. She transformed into a ray of light, rushing towards the entrance of the abyss. In just a few breaths, Protector Nuan arrived in front of Lin Yuan. At that moment, she was absolutely certain. The man before her was Xiahou Yuan, the once chieftain of the 5-domain demonic path, a legendary demon. Greetings, my lord. Protector Nuan, with surging emotions, didn't even think about how Lin Yuan came out. She kneeled down and excitedly spoke. Greetings, my lord. Seeing this, the other demons who had rushed over also knelt down in succession. Nuan Shu ah. Lin Yuan glanced at Protector Nuan and casually said. In Xiahou Yuan's memory, Nuan Shu was a child he had picked up, who had followed him since her youth. Because of this, when Xiahou Yuan was suppressed and the demon chiefs scattered, only Nuan Shu thought about how to rescue her lord. In terms of loyalty, Protector Nuan could be called the most dedicated among the demons. Though for demons, loyalty was the most meaningless thing. Initially, Xiahou Yuan was able to command the chiefs of the five-domain demonic path not because of loyalty, but because of absolute power. And more so because of his invisible suppression over all the demons. Especially the latter. 100 miles away, a sword light rushed forward rapidly. These damned remnants of the demonic Tao, they come every so often. Xianxia was filled with anger. As a superior being at the peak of the 8th realm, stationed in the cold, bitter land of the North Domain Abyss, he was already displeased. After all, the heavenly earth vital energy near the North Domain Abyss was sparse. Staying here too long, let alone advancing further, it was already not easy to maintain his current realm. And this was more acutely felt the higher one's realm was. Had it not been for Tianjianzi personally speaking out and promising those few rewards, Xianxia would not have come here. Even so, Xianxia would not foolishly stay at the entrance of the abyss, but distanced himself from the abyss, finding a secluded place 100 miles away for seclusion. Chapter 148 Tremors of the Five Domains, please subscribe. _2 At this distance, if anything happened at the Great Abyss, he could rush over in an instant. This time, I must teach those remnants of the demonic Tao a lesson, one that will leave them struggling to recover for years. Xianxia already had a plan in mind. In the past, when Xianxia arrived, those remnants of the demonic Tao had already run away. Xianxia did not pursue them. After all, even if he killed the demon chiefs, there was no real benefit and he might even get injured. But this time Xianxia changed his mind. If he didn't display his strength, those remnants of the demon chiefs would probably become even more brazen. Just as Xianxia was rushing towards the Great Abyss at top speed, he suddenly froze. Because he noticed that the heavenly earth vital energy from all directions was rapidly flowing towards the direction of the Great Abyss. Within the range Xianxia had covered for dozens of miles around, it was all the same. What on earth is happening? Xianxia was startled. Being able to mobilize such a vast range of heavenly earth vital energy near the North Domain Abyss was no easy feat. At least, he Xianxia admitted it would be difficult to accomplish. He estimated that only a 9th realm powerhouse could be confident in doing this. But why the North Domain Abyss? If it weren't necessary, which 9th realm powerhouse would come to such a forsaken place? Could it be that a few demon lords have come to rescue Xiahou Yuan? Jianghu's eyebrows furrowed slightly. The demon chiefs in the 5 domains were always heartless, especially those of the 9th realm. If they didn't come to kick someone while they were down, that would be unexpected, but to rescue someone? Xianxia thought the likelihood was slim. Without Xiahou Yuan, those demon lords were free as birds and even Tianjianzi couldn't control them. Coming to rescue Xiahou Yuan would just be asking for trouble, wouldn't it? Moreover, the 18-layered gate at the entrance to the Great Abyss would take several 9th realm powerhouses working together half a year or more to break through, and Tianjianzi would never give them so much time. Perhaps it's a treasure? Xianxia suddenly thought. Apart from a 9th realm powerhouse, certain treasures' emergence could also cause unusual phenomena in heaven and earth, but given the commotion at the moment, if it really was a treasure, it would certainly be no trivial item. It seems to be my Jiang's fortuitous opportunity. Jiang's eyes gleamed slightly as he continued to fly towards the location of the Great Abyss. He was ready to take just a glance from afar, and if it indeed was a treasure, he would claim it for his own. If it was a few 9th realm demon lords, he would turn around and leave. Although Xianxia was no match for a 9th realm demon lord, he could still get away if he kept his distance. Very soon. Xianxia arrived just a few miles from the entrance to the Great Abyss. Let me take a look. Xianxia hovered in the air, his gaze scanning the area. But in the next moment he froze. He saw a tall man in tattered clothes standing at the entrance to the Great Abyss. Nuan and a group of other remnants of the demonic Tao were kneeling before the man, speaking in hushed tones. Xiahou Yuan. Jiang's scalp tingled. Without thinking, he started to flee in the opposite direction at breakneck speed. How could he not have thought that the one causing such a large commotion would be Xiahou Yuan himself? Wasn't he sealed by Tianjianzi, unable to move his body or primordial spirit? Wasn't he thrown into the 18th layer of the Great Abyss, suffering endless torment from the suppression? How did he escape? Xianxia was in a complete turmoil, with only one thought on his mind: to run. Then to head to Tianjin sect, castigate Tianjianzi for being unreliable, for causing him such fright. An 8th realm? Lin Yuan was listening to Nuan, the protector, reporting on the situation over the years. Suddenly sensing something, he looked up, his gaze following the frantically fleeing Xianxia. Honored one, that is Xianxia, responsible for overseeing. Nuan also lifted his head to look and immediately recognized the familiar individual. Perfect. Lin Yuan raised his right hand and grasped into the void. Boom boom boom. A huge hand of heavenly earth vital energy formed, encompassing 10 miles to grip Xianxia, who was like dust in its palm. No. Jiang's soul trembled as he struggled with all his might. Unfortunately, under the overwhelming force of heaven and earth, Xianxia, like true dust, sent up a few splashes before completely vanishing without a trace. Boom. The enormous hand slowly clenched. Jiang's body directly exploded, turning into a massive mist of blood. Immediately afterward, far away at the entrance of the great abyss, Lin Yuan once again took a gentle breath. All the blood mist and essence of the primordial spirit turned into a long dragon, being completely inhaled into Lin Yuan's belly. Compared to directly devouring heavenly earth vital energy, pillaging the lifeblood and primordial spirit of stronger individuals was naturally more efficient, a method almost all demon lords coveted. Master, Nuan, standing beside him, swallowed hard. She wasn't surprised that Lin Yuan directly devoured Jiangxia as nourishment. But she was astounded at Lin Yuan's strength, considering that Jiangxia was a peak powerhouse of the 8th realm, capable of escaping even from the grasp of ordinary 9th realm individuals. Even more so since Jiangxia started fleeing from such a distance. Nuan had originally thought that being suppressed 18 levels under the ground of the Great Abyss, Lin Yuan's strength would be greatly weakened. However, it now seemed to be sheer fiction. With the strength Lin Yuan had just displayed, he seemed no weaker than Xiahou Yuan at his zenith 25 years ago. Jiangxia is just gone like that. Zhao Si and the other guards were numb with shock, harboring in their hearts a last sliver of hope until now. That hope was Jiangxia. Before Nuan and the other remnants of the demonic Tao arrived, Zhao Si had contacted Jiangxia. Although Zhao Si wasn't strong, he understood that even Xiahou Yuan, having forcefully made his way up from the 18th level under the Great Hall, must have paid a substantial price. Therefore, as long as Jiangxia, a peak powerhouse of the 8th realm, arrived in time, Xiahou Yuan might have been driven away, and thus they might have been saved. However, things had gone contrary to their wishes. Not only had Jiangxia failed to drive away Xiahou Yuan, he was devoured by Xiahou Yuan instead. Upon swallowing the lifeblood and essence of Jiang's primordial spirit, Lin Yuan's eyebrows slightly furrowed. The lifeblood and primordial spirit of Jiangxia indeed greatly replenished Lin Yuan's exhaustion. But during the absorption, Lin Yuan faintly felt traces of Jiang's soul impurities beginning to affect himself. Of course, these soul impurities were easily erased by the current Lin Yuan. However, if Lin Yuan wished to continue using this method to recover his strength or break through to a higher realm, a small amount might be inconsequential, but a large quantity could affect the purity of his own soul. This swallowing sky evolution path's secret technique is indeed bizarre, Lin Yuan thought to himself. The technique he had used to devour Jiangxia was indeed a secret technique from the swallowing sky evolution path. This evolution path enabled one to supplement oneself by consuming all things. Of course, the more one consumed, the more likely one's spiritual wisdom and consciousness could be impacted. Similar methods existed within the demonic Tao secret techniques, but their efficiency in absorbing was far less than the secret techniques of the swallowing sky evolution path. This secret technique, once spread, would surely be revered as a sacred, divine technique amongst the demon lords of the world. Let's go. First, let's find a quiet place. Lin Yuan glanced at Nuan, who was still in shock, and spoke indifferently. Yes. On hearing Lin Yuan's words, Nuan promptly snapped to attention, and led Lin Yuan to a nearby stronghold. It wasn't until Lin Yuan and his party completely left, that Zhao Si and the other guards came to their senses. We survived? Many guards burst into tears of joy, knowing all too well that only moments ago, they had been preparing their last words. In the eyes of Xiahou Yuan, we probably don't even count as ants. Zhao Si exhaled sharply, thinking to himself. It wasn't that Xiahou Yuan was merciful, but rather he disdained to lay hands on the weak. Of course, his reluctance to act was under the condition that the weak made no other moves. If any of the guards had shown even the slightest anomaly, whether to rush forward or to flee, they would surely have been dead beyond doubt. With Xiahou Yuan emerging from the abyss, the five domains are about to change. Zhao Si steadied his spirit and looked towards the direction Lin Yuan had left, this thought springing up in his heart. Several days later, the news of the legendary demon Xiahou Yuan, being released from the abyss after 25 years and returning to the world, spread like a hurricane in all directions. For a time the five domains were shaken. Chapter 149 All the Demons in the World. Behold Xiaohu, please subscribe. A dark underground palace. The Moyang demon lord looked at the intelligence before him, and his expression changed dramatically. Xiaohu Yuan has left the great abyss? The face of the Moyang demon lord turned ugly. As one of the 9 great demon lords under Xiaohu Yuan in years past, he was acutely aware of Xiaohu Yuan's terror. He was a being that drove every demon chief to utter despair, such that even demon lords of the 9th realm would tremble in his presence and dare not defy him. This was not to say Xiaohu Yuan's strength was far superior to that of a 9th realm demon lord. Rather, it was the person Xiaohu Yuan who was born with an ability to suppress all demons, as naturally as a mouse cowers before a cat. Even if the mouse were larger than the cat, it still wouldn't dare to resist upon seeing the cat. It was a fear etched deep within the soul. 25 years ago, the Moyang demon lord had personally witnessed Tianjianzi suppress and then cast Xiaohu Yuan down into the 18th layer of the great abyss. He had breathed a sigh of relief, believing his days of good fortune were on the horizon, free from Xiaohu Yuan's constraints. He could do whatever he wanted, whether it was the Tianjian sect or Tianjianzi himself. Even if he couldn't beat them, couldn't he still escape? The 5 domains were vast, the world was vast. What could those righteous forces do to him? Worthless. Tianjianzi, you worthless fool. I gave you an opportunity to be of use. The Moyang demon lord was plagued by frustration. It had been such a golden opportunity. But how did Xiaohu Yuan escape from the 18th layer under the great abyss? Could it be that girl Nuan used some method? The Moyang demon lord forced himself to calm down. During the years immediately following Xiaohu Yuan's suppression, he, the Moyang demon lord, had also secretly approached the vicinity of the great abyss to observe for some time. Only after he confirmed that the 18th layer's gates were like a true net of heaven and earth, and that Xiaohu Yuan had no possibility of escape, did he feel at ease to leave. Never mind. Even if Xiaohu Yuan has truly left the great abyss, the first ones he would find should be the Tianjian sect, Tianjianzi. The Moyang demon lord thought to himself. After all, in terms of hatred, it was Tianjianzi with Bai Qing'er who caused a rupture in Xiaohu Yuan's mental state, leading to his suppression. The enmity was as deep as the sea. If Xiaohu Yuan truly broke free, he would certainly go to the Tianjian sect for vengeance, sparing no expense. And they, the demon chiefs, could naturally sit back and watch the tigers fight, and perhaps take the opportunity to fish in troubled waters when necessary. The central region. The Tianjian sect. Lofty mountain peaks. Drifting clouds and mist. Just like a paradise. This is where the gate to the Tianjian sect resides. The place where the heavenly earth vital energy is richest in the central region. Practicing here, one could easily break through to the 3rd realm, the 4th realm, even without consuming elixirs with just decent aptitude. Xiaohu Yuan is out? In the grand hall at the mountain's summit, a white-haired man was slightly surprised. He was Tianjianzi. Indeed, during the battle 25 years ago, he had resorted to a despicable tactic by using Bai Qing'er to disturb Xiaohu Yuan's mental state. But without the strength to stand against Xiaohu Yuan, whatever he did would have been in vain. Interesting. A smile spread across Tianjianzi's face. Ever since defeating Xiaohu Yuan and suppressing him 25 years ago, he felt that destiny had favored him, and his cultivation had continually advanced. Now, he was just a half-step away from breaking through to the 9th realm and stepping into the 10th realm, which only a handful of people had entered in tens of thousands of years. Thus, Tianjianzi was not overly concerned with the news of Xiaohu Yuan's escape. He was even somewhat pleased. He had indeed been somewhat unscrupulous when he defeated Xiaohu Yuan 25 years ago. But now, Tianjianzi was confident that he could crush Xiaohu Yuan fair and square. Deep within the Tianjian sect, an exceptionally beautiful valley. A woman wearing a flowing white dress, almost celestial in her bearing, sat within a pavilion. Brother Xiaohu, Bai Qing'er appeared somewhat distracted. She too had learned of Xiaohu Yuan's escape from the great abyss. Back then, I was the one who wronged you. Bai Qing'er's expression was complex. She had masqueraded as a descendant of the Bai family, gotten close to Xiaohu Yuan and successfully won his trust. At the crucial moment, she deeply betrayed him. Logically, regardless of the perspective, she, Bai Qing'er, hadn't done anything wrong, as everything she did was to eradicate the demonic Tao and provide a peaceful world for the common people. But with the passage of time, Bai Qing'er's guilt grew. Xiaohu Yuan's boundless trust, bestowed upon her over the decades, weighed on Bai Qing'er's chest, making it difficult for her to breathe. I have no regrets. Even if it were to happen 10 times, 100 times, I would have no regrets. Bai Qing'er's gaze gradually firmed up. The northern region. Near the western side. Here the temperature was higher, suitable for living beings to thrive. My lord, this stronghold is the last one I've arranged. You can rest here. Protector Nuan led Lin Yuan to a house within the stronghold. What Protector Nuan didn't say was that this stronghold was the last one over which he still had control. At the beginning of Xiahou Yuan's suppression 25 years ago, there were still many demon chiefs willing to follow her. However, after several failed attempts to rescue Xiahou Yuan, Protector Nuan's control over resources and power began to shrink. After all, Protector Nuan was not a ninth realm demon lord, and wanting to rescue Xiahou Yuan, she was constantly targeted and suppressed by all righteous forces. When it became apparent there was little hope of rescuing Xiahou Yuan, those selfish and self-interested demon chiefs naturally realized that following Nuan would lead them nowhere. In times of great peril, it is not unusual for each to escape on their own. Understood. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. He was very pleased with the environment around him. Mainly because, compared to the harsh environment of the Great Abyss, this place was brimming with primordial chi like paradise to Lin Yuan. Chapter 150 All the Demons in the World, Behold Xiahou, please subscribe. Understood. I will enter seclusion for a period of time. Unless there is an urgent matter, do not disturb me. Lin Yuan instructed. This time in seclusion, Lin Yuan mainly prepared for his breakthrough to the 5th rank. Yes. Protector Nuan said earnestly. She thought Xiahou Yuan had sustained injuries and was now in seclusion to recuperate. After all, being suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss for 25 years, how could he not have paid any price? Lin Yuan, raising a hand to kill the peak of the 8th realm Jianghu, was already incredibly inconceivable. His body must undoubtedly have many hidden issues. He walked into the room. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged on the bed. 5th rank, Lin Yuan wore a thoughtful expression. Spending 20 years on the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, Lin Yuan spent most of his time in enlightenment, contemplating the path of the 5th rank. The 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, with its harsh environment and sparse heavenly earth vital energy, even if Lin Yuan could break through, he would not choose to do it there. There shouldn't be any problems. Half a day later Lin Yuan exhaled lightly. However, this Xiahou Yuan, indeed possesses extraordinary talent. Lin Yuan's thoughts shifted back to himself. Based on the memories he perused about Xiahou Yuan, this person possessed unimaginable talent in the demonic Tao. Not just that, Xiahou Yuan had an almost suppressive power over other demon lords. Continue to recover strength. Reach the peak of the 4th rank. Then break through to the 5th rank. Lin Yuan's thoughts moved and he proceeded with his cultivation. Suddenly, the heavenly earth vital energy for dozens of miles around like a funnel, converged towards the mountain village where Lin Yuan resided. The news of Xiahou Yuan emerging from the Great Abyss caused a huge uproar throughout the 5 domains. This matter couldn't be concealed, especially since the Guardian of the Great Abyss hadn't died. Even if he had, there would still be inspections from time to time. The righteous forces naturally remembered the fear under Xiahou Yuan's domination. The veteran demon lords who had experienced the events 20 or 30 years prior immediately became panic-stricken. They were well aware of how terrible Xiahou Yuan was. But the demon lords born in the last 2 or 3 decades were somewhat dismissive. Demons, by nature, value freedom and independence. The newer demon lords thought, even if Xiahou Yuan was once an unrivaled demon in the demonic Tao, he had been suppressed for 2 or 3 decades. How much strength could he have left? 10%? 20%? Or 30%? Some even saw this as an opportunity. For most demon lords, Xiahou Yuan was like a demon obstacle. If they could kill him at this time, they would completely replace his status from 20 to 30 years ago. Become the leader of countless demon lords in the 5 domains? This idea spread rapidly among most demon lords, especially among the newer ones. Over the past 2 to 3 decades, they had heard too many legends about Xiahou Yuan. If they could shatter that legend, then they could become the new legend. Outside the mountain village where Lin Yuan resided, unknown when one figure after another appeared. These figures had dark and oppressive auras, clearly experienced demon lords. There, was that the last known location of Xiahou Yuan? A sinister young man with his hands behind his back spoke faintly. This sinister young man, named Bian Mao, emerged as a prodigious talent in the demonic Tao almost 20 years ago, possessing peak 8th realm strength and known as the Minor Demon Lord. The title Demon Lord is generally used for 9th realm demons. That Bian Mao could be called a Minor Demon Lord. Obviously, there was a great possibility that he would step into the 9th realm. By then, the Minor Demon Lord would become a true demon monarch. Bien Mao, listen well, this hunt for Xiahou Yuan is a significant matter. This is a legendary grand demon from 25 years ago, nearly invincible in the world. A hoarse voice sounded. A figure emerged from a nearby shadow and spoke. If you Yin Shilu dare to, why wouldn't I, Bien Mao? The sinister young man Bien Mao let out a cold chuckle. Yin Shilu was also a demon lord whose reputation was not much less than his. He was best at assassination, even having severely wounded a ninth realm powerhouse. Of course, that act of severely wounding a ninth realm powerhouse involved an ambush by Yin Shilu when the opponent's mind was distracted, allowing him to strike fiercely. But regardless, being able to severely wound a ninth realm practitioner had indeed proved Yin Shilia's strength. If Yin Shilu ambushed a certain eighth realm practitioner, wouldn't the latter be doomed? All right. Stop arguing. Just then a crisp female voice came. It rang like a bell in the breeze. A young girl in a light green skirt stretched and jumped down from a large rock. She had been sitting on the rock all this while, watching the movements at the distant mountain village. This joint hunt for Xiahou Yuan by the three of us is a significant event. If successful, we could become the next generation leaders of the demonic path in the 5 domains. The girl's expression became rarely solemn. If we fail, she stopped there, not continuing further. Don't worry. With the strength of the three of us, plus hundreds of subordinates, Xiahou Yuan would definitely die unless he has regained his peak ninth realm strength. Even if he has returned to full strength, we could still abandon those subordinates, and the three of us might have a chance to escape. Yin Shilu spoke indifferently. As his voice fell, figures stepped out from the shadows in all directions simultaneously. These figures revealed their auras, all 7th realm demon lords. Interspersed, they formed a formation capable of killing an 8th realm practitioner outright, and even a 9th realm practitioner would be immensely troubled. Chapter 151. All the demons in the world, see me Xiahou, seeking subscriptions. _3 Moreover, there were 3 masters at the peak of the 8th realm who could even wrestle with a demon lord of the 9th realm, such exceptional talents of the demonic Tao. It's about time. We can make a move now. The sinister youth, Bien Mao, glanced at the distant stronghold and spoke. The atmosphere feels off. Deep in the stronghold, in front of the house where Lin Yuan was in retreat. As a protector, Nuan naturally guarded him all the time, but at this moment she faintly sensed danger. Could this place have been discovered? Nuan felt a shock in her heart. Indeed, that was a possibility. Ever since Xiahou Yuan was suppressed, the forces she could muster had grown weaker, and even the specially arranged strongholds were no longer flawless. No. I must see the master, I need to leave quickly. Nuan was highly vigilant, but just as she was about to knock on the door, she suddenly remembered that the master should be healing now. Disturbing him at this moment could potentially exacerbate his injuries. Would that not be a death-deserving crime? While Nuan hesitated, swish swish swish, several figures clad in black swiftly retreated back. They were precisely Nuan's few remaining subordinates. What's happening? Nuan sensed something was wrong. We are surrounded. One of the subordinates spoke in a deep voice. Surrounded? Nuan's expression darkened. This fast? Tap tap tap. Light footsteps began to sound. Unbeknownst to them, hundreds of figures had already appeared around the house within the stronghold. These hundreds of figures, with their auras faintly connected, clearly shared a common intent and had mastered some powerful joint attack skill. Come out. Seeing this, Nuan knew she couldn't escape unscathed. So you are one of the 36 protectors under Xiahou Yuan from years ago, Nuan Shu? A sinister youth stepped forward, looking at Nuan Shu with interest. He had not lived through Xiahou Yuan's era and thus had no fear of it. Indeed loyal. If I'm not mistaken, your master is in this house, right? How dare you? Nuan burst into rage. What status does the master hold for a junior like this sinister youth to address him directly? Bien Mao, how dare you? Nuan stared intently at the sinister youth. She also recognized Bien Mao, the most promising to ascend to the 9th realm's little demon lord. Protector Nuan, times have changed. Upon hearing this, the sinister youth Bien Mao's expression turned cold. The era belonging to Xiahou Yuan has passed. The sinister youth Bien Mao said with a cold laugh. Stop talking. Attack directly. A girl in a light green skirt appeared simultaneously with Yin Shilu. A profound aura suddenly spread, rapidly enveloping the entire stronghold. Just as the sinister youth Bien Mao, the girl in the light green skirt Yin Shilu, and the hundreds of demon crowd were about to attack. The wooden door behind Nuan was pushed open. Such a lively scene? A gentle voice came from inside the house. Immediately a foot stepped out. Under the gaze of the sinister youth Yin Shilu and others, a tall man walked out from the cabin. Is that Xiahou Yuan? Even though they had anticipated this scene in their minds, the sinister youth and others still felt their heartbeats accelerate. This was a legend from 20 or 30 years ago. Kill? The sinister youth Bien Mao Yin Shilu and the girl in the light green skirt were resolute. Even if it was truly Xiahou Yuan, how did it matter? It wasn't 30 years ago anymore, and even if he was once a legend, they dared to make a move to hunt him down. Lin Yuan stood at a distance, his lips curling into a smile. Boom. In an instant, within a 10 to several tens of kilometers radius, any demon practicing demonic Tao arts, be it from the 7th realm, 8th realm, or even 9th realm, couldn't help but prostrate themselves on the ground, trembling. All demons in the world, upon seeing Xiahou, must bow down. Chapter 152, The 9 Demon Lords. Subscribe please. Inside the stronghold, hundreds of demon chiefs had murderous intentions reaching for the skies. Yet they found themselves involuntarily kneeling and kowtowing the instant they saw Lin Yuan. This was an incomparable suppression, emanating from the depths of the soul, as if all demon chiefs who practiced demonic cultivation in the world were under its jurisdiction. How is this possible? The sinister young man Bien Mao knelt on the ground, unable to move, waves of shock flooding his heart. With his strength, even if he encountered a peak existence of the 9th realm, he might not be able to fight or escape, but he wouldn't just kneel directly. Yet now, not only had he, Bien Mao, knelt down, but all the demonic arts and forbidden techniques inside him had fallen eerily silent. This was simply unthinkable. This Xiahou Yuan, a chill ran down the spine of the sinister young man Bien Mao. He finally understood why the seasoned demon chiefs who had lived through the era 30 years ago were panicked upon hearing that Xiahou Yuan had emerged from the great abyss. They were not considering hunting him down, not even entertaining a thought of hostility. At that time he, Bien Mao, had been somewhat contemptuous, even mocking those seasoned demon chiefs for being so terrified by Xiahou Yuan that they hadn't emerged for decades. However, facing Xiahou Yuan directly, the sinister young man Bien Mao deeply realized just how terrifying Xiahou Yuan, who once dominated the demons of the 5 domains and was known as Demon Lord, truly was. His own grand ambitions to replace Xiahou Yuan and become the next legendary figure now seemed ludicrous. If Xiahou Yuan were so easy to deal with, then upon learning he had emerged from the great abyss, the 9 great demon lords of the 5 domains would have come to hunt him down already. How could a lesser demon lord like himself possibly get a head start? It turns out we were being used. Yin Shilu, also kneeling on the ground, suddenly realized something. Their operation was not exactly clandestine. A few of the 9 great demon lords were aware of it. Yet from the beginning to the end they had encountered no hindrances. Instead, everything went unusually smoothly, easily pinpointing Xiahou Yuan's location. Before this, Yin Shilu had merely thought it was Providence aiding him. But now they, the young generation, had clearly become the knife in the hands of those seasoned demon chiefs. Those seasoned demon chiefs, including the 9 great demon lords, having experienced the era of Xiahou Yuan, knew too well the terror he wielded. That's why, even upon learning that Xiahou Yuan had just stepped out of the great abyss and couldn't possibly be in peak condition, they still dared not make a move. To those seasoned demon chiefs, the rise of this younger generation was an unexpected delight. With the tacit agreement of several demon lords, they gathered together and discussed the hunting of the legendary demon chief, Xiahou Yuan. Little did they know, all of their actions were under the scrutiny of those seasoned demon chiefs. With great caution they used them to test Xiahou Yuan. If they managed to kill Xiahou Yuan, it would be tantamount to helping those seasoned demon chiefs eliminate a major worry. If not, it had nothing to do with those seasoned demon chiefs. From beginning to end, this young generation of demon chiefs had never collaborated with them on anything. All actions were of their own volition. Master, why hasn't Master come? Xiahou Yuan is too terrifying. Wah 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 wah. The girl in a light green dress crushed the jade amulet in her hand. According to the plan she had with her master, as soon as she crushed the amulet, her 9th realm master would come at the fastest speed and end everything. At that time, whether it was the lesser demon Lord Bien Mao or Yin Shilu, both could only kneel under her skirt. But she had ground the jade amulet into dust, and her master still hadn't arrived. In front of the wooden hut, Lin Yuan looked at all the demon chiefs kneeling on the ground. His expression showed no surprise. As soon as he had arrived in this world, Lin Yuan knew that Xiahou Yuan had a near-terrifying suppressive power over all demon chiefs. Of course, this suppressive power was not without limit. It had to be within the same realm. For example, when Xiahou Yuan was in the 7th realm, All demon chiefs of the 7th realm and below would be suppressed in his presence. Even those at the peak of the 7th realm could not escape this suppression and would have no choice but to kneel and kowtow upon encountering Xiahou Yuan. If it were a demon chief of the 8th realm, they might mitigate the suppression, but they would only ensure they would not have to kneel and kowtow. Attacking Xiahou Yuan was something they would not dare to contemplate. Decades ago, how did Xiahou Yuan gain dominance over the demon chiefs of the 5 domains? Was it simply by force? By strength? The Tianjin sect and other righteous forces had not dominated the demonic Tao for so many years, so how could Xiahou Yuan have managed it? Even if one's strength were great for those demon chiefs and demon lords, they could simply choose to stay far away. If they couldn't defeat him, couldn't they just hide? Even against the righteous forces, when faced with a 10th realm powerhouse of righteousness, demon chiefs could indeed hide. For tens of thousands of years, 3 10th realm powerhouses had emerged from the Tianjin sect. Even so, at most, they made the demon chiefs of the 5 domains fall silent and disappear for a few hundred years. Once the 10th realm powerhouse died, the demon chiefs would emerge again. But Xiahou Yuan managed to make all the demon chiefs of the 5 domains submit, and strength alone was definitely not enough to explain it. Lin Yuan, suppressed on the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss ground, chose the most torturous method to recover his strength instead of simply letting his primordial spirit exit the body and seek a new vessel. He was concerned that if he changed bodies he would lose this suppressive power. He knew that even without this natural means to suppress demons, Lin Yuan was destined to be invincible in the world. But having it in advance could definitely help him avoid some detours. Moreover, Lin Yuan was also quite curious. What was the principle behind this suppression? Chapter 153 The 9 Demon Lords. Please subscribe. Understood? Stop squeezing, your master has long since run away. Lin Yuan looked at the many demon heads kneeling on the ground and glanced at the young girl dressed in a light green skirt, as he saw her attempting to crush a jade pendant that was nearly reduced to powder. As soon as the girl had appeared, Lin Yuan had sensed an aura on her that was connected to another aura 100 miles away. The aura 100 miles away originated from the same source as the girl's but was much stronger, likely belonging to a 9th realm demon head. However, at the moment the girl crushed the jade pendant, the aura 100 miles away, like a startled bird, rapidly fled far away, and by now, it had probably already escaped 1,000 miles away. This instantly made Lin Yuan lose the intention to pursue. It wasn't that he couldn't catch up, but that there was no need. What was most important for him now was to break through to the 5th rank as quickly as possible, and all other matters could be postponed. Actually, Lin Yuan speculated that if the girl had not crushed the jade pendant, the 9th realm demon head 100 miles away might have approached out of curiosity. But once the jade pendant was crushed, it indicated that something unpredictable had occurred, and the most likely cause of that variable would be Xiahou Yuan. How would the aura 100 miles away dare to come closer? Xiahou. What? My lord. The young girl in the light green skirt trembled as she stuttered. Decades earlier, Xiahou Yuan had unified the demonic path of the 5 domains and was known as Demon Lord, with his followers respectfully addressing him as my lord. Enough. Lin Yuan looked at the other demon heads, his gaze briefly resting on the eerie youth Bian Mao and Yin Shilu. Do you want to die or live? Lin Yuan's voice was not loud, but it echoed in everyone's ears. To die or to live? Upon hearing this, the eerie youth Bian Mao was momentarily stunned. Then a look of wild joy appeared on his face. Initially he thought he was certain to die, but now it seemed from Lin Yuan's intentions that there was a chance he could live? Want to live. Demon Lord, we want to live. Reporting to my lord, we want to live. The numerous demon heads quickly said. Since you want to live, don't resist. Lin Yuan raised his right hand, and hundreds of streams of light flew out, landing on the foreheads of each of the demon heads. Lin Yuan had just emerged from the Great Abyss, and the forces he had established in the past had long since disbanded. He was in need of a group of subordinates to serve him. Lin Yuan had no great demands on his subordinates, as long as they could help him find some heavenly earth spiritual medicine, to quickly cultivate at an accelerated pace. Yes. Bian Mao and the other demon heads felt a chill on their foreheads, as if something had penetrated their minds, and they didn't dare to examine it closely, quickly responding. Protector Nuan stood atop Lin Yuan, looking down at the eerie youth and other demon heads, with a hint of smugness on her face. Call it yelling and screaming, are you juniors even qualified to challenge my lord? Now, you've been implanted with a death mark, the control of your life and death is in my lord's hands. The death mark was a method Xiahou Yuan used to control the demon heads in the past. It could simulate Xiahou Yuan's aura, hovering in the minds of all the demon heads. Once this aura erupted, even a ninth realm peak demon lord would struggle to survive. Of course, the death marks implanted in their foreheads needed to be reinforced by Xiahou Yuan periodically. If not reinforced for a long period, they would dissipate quickly. Of course, no demon head dared to drag out the time, such as hiding in some place and waiting for the death mark to dissipate. Because before the death mark could fade away, Xiahou Yuan needed only a single thought to detonate it. Initially, when Xiahou Yuan was suppressed, the demon heads trembled with fear for a while. But later they realized that Xiahou Yuan, who was trapped on the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss ground, had long since lost contact with the outside world, unable to even sense, let alone activate the death mark. Years passed, and as the death marks in the depths of all the demon heads' minds dissipated, the fearful hearts finally settled down. Thousands of miles from the stronghold, an escape light rushed forth, faintly exuding the scent of blood. Clearly, the master of the escape light had used some forbidden technique to greatly increase speed, pushing it to the limit. A moment later, the escape light stopped. A plump, middle-aged beautiful woman hovered in the air. Xianxia, the middle-aged beautiful woman's breathing was a bit unsteady, yet her presence still caused the surrounding few miles to fall silent. The wild beasts, as if sensing the aura of a natural predator, curled up in place, not daring to move. Without a doubt, this middle-aged beautiful woman was a ninth realm powerhouse and a demon head of the ninth realm. Yet at this moment, this being capable of ranging freely across the 5 domains still had fear lingering on her face as if she had just escaped from some place of great terror. What exactly happened? Why would Xianxia crush the jade pendant? This middle-aged beautiful woman was one of the demon heads who had intended to encircle and kill Lin Yuan. The girl in the light green skirt had a master. It wasn't entirely accurate to call her a master, though, as outsiders had no clue about their actual relationship. Originally, this middle-aged beauty was watching from 100 miles away. However, even as a demon from the ninth realm, it's quite difficult to detect anything across such a distance. Mainly because the middle-aged beauty dared not use any probing or perceptive secret techniques. If Xiahou Yuan discovered her, wouldn't it be like asking for trouble? Yet, when the middle-aged beauty sensed the girl in the light green skirt crushing the jade pendant, a feeling of fear instinctively arose within her heart. She didn't get any closer, instead she turned in the opposite direction and started to flee for her life, sparing no expense on various secret techniques. There was no helping it. That was Xiahou Yuan. No matter why the girl in the light green skirt crushed the jade pendant, if there was even the slightest possibility it involved Xiahou Yuan, she wouldn't dare to gamble. No, it won't do. I must go and join up with Moyang and the others. The middle-aged beauty steadied her nerves, feeling that it was somewhat unsafe to be alone. She wanted to find others who were also demons of the ninth realm, grouped together for warmth. Especially Moyang Demon Lord, who had reached the peak of the ninth realm 30 years ago. He was even poised to become the new leader of the demonic Tao after Xiahou Yuan's suppression. According to what the middle-aged beauty knew, since Xiahou Yuan emerged from the Great Abyss, Moyang Demon Lord had always been plotting something. If anyone else knew what the middle-aged beauty was thinking, they would be astounded. After all, as a demon lord of the ninth realm, what in the 5 domains and 4 seas could make you feel unsafe? But upon learning that this person was Xiahou Yuan, they would find it perfectly normal again. That was Xiahou Yuan. After subduing Bian Mao, Yin Shirlu and many other demon heads, Lin Yuan returned to the wooden hut to continue his cultivation. As for the demon heads, they stayed nearby the stronghold, forbidding strangers from getting close. 5th rank. The more Lin Yuan cultivated, the deeper his understanding of the 5th rank became. Having spent 20 years on the 18th level of the Great Abyss ground, Lin Yuan had imagined breaking through to the 5th rank countless times. It's about time. Lin Yuan opened his eyes. He was now fully prepared to make his breakthrough to the 5th rank. All that was left was to start the breakthrough. However, it would be best to change locations before breaking through. Lin Yuan's expression shifted slightly as he scanned his surroundings. Firstly, breaking through to the 5th rank requires a high-quality environment. Well, it's not the environment per se. If Lin Yuan had a few jars of Scarlet Spirit liquid, he could break through anywhere. The heavenly earth vital energy around the stronghold was indeed much better than that in the Great Abyss, but it still didn't meet Lin Yuan's minimum standard for breaking through. Furthermore, in recent days Lin Yuan clearly sensed a faint feeling of being spied upon. Obviously, his presence here had been noticed by many, and since they didn't dare confront him directly, they kept observing from a distance. Not that Lin Yuan cared about being watched by others. But for the sake of an undisturbed breakthrough, he obviously needed to find a secure and secluded place. Nuan Shu. Lin Yuan called over his protector Nuan and expressed his requirements. Yes. Nuan promptly nodded. She had wanted to leave this place for some time. Not only had Lin Yuan sensed the spying, Nuan had also felt that more than one person was observing them from afar. Several days later, Nuan quickly came in front of the wooden hut and upon being granted permission by Lin Yuan, excitedly said, "My lord, I have found a place that absolutely meets the requirements." Oh? Lin Yuan opened his eyes, his face showing surprise. His requirements for Nuan Shu were not low. To meet them would be equivalent to the standards of the major power strongholds. Could such a place be found so easily? Chapter 154 Majestic Magic. Please subscribe. What place? Lin Yuan asked directly. He believed in Nuan Shu's ability and was certain that it would search according to his instructions, without any possibility of cutting corners. Respected master. Nuan Shu immediately recounted all the information it had gathered. It turned out that ever since 25 years ago when Lin Yuan was suppressed in the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss, the Moyang Demon Lord, once a formidable subordinate of Xiahou Yuan at the peak of the 9th realm, began to secretly construct an underground palace. He intended to use this underground palace as a foundation to once again unite the demonic Tao forces of the 5 domains and establish his stronghold. This underground palace was built upon a natural primordial chi vortex. And this primordial chi vortex had reached the rank of skygrade. The so-called primordial chi vortex is a place where the heavenly earth vital energy gathers most densely. And those that reach the rank of skygrade are few and far between across the 5 domains and 4 seas. The Moyang Demon Lord discovered such a primordial chi vortex but never expanded it until Xiahou Yuan was suppressed and lost all hope of emerging, at which point he began to utilize it for his grand ambitions. Unfortunately, despite his lofty goals, the Moyang Demon Lord lacked Xiahou Yuan's nearly terrifying suppression over all other demon chiefs. As such, he was doomed to be unable to command all demon chiefs and could only establish a single demonic Tao force. The construction of the underground palace by the Moyang Demon Lord was exceedingly secretive. If it were not for the fact that Xiahou Yuan had not been suppressed for long when the construction began, and there were still a few demon chiefs with loyalty informing Nuan Shu in secret, it's likely that Nuan Shu would not have been able to find a suitable breakthrough location for Lin Yuan so quickly. It's just, Nuan Shu's face showed some hesitation. The underground palace built by the Moyang Demon Lord is not only secret but also extremely dangerous. It is said that there is more than one sky-rank demon formation set up. A sky-rank demon formation is powerful enough to suppress and kill a powerhouse of the 9th realm. If the respected master intends to enter that underground palace, you must be extremely cautious, Nuan Shu said softly. No matter. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. Several days later Lin Yuan and Nuan Shu arrived in front of a hill. Bian Mao and many other demon chiefs followed closely behind them. This is the entrance to the underground palace built by the Moyang Demon Lord, Nuan Shu whispered. Heavenly earth vital energy. Lin Yuan faintly sensed a massive primordial chi vortex. However, this primordial chi vortex seemed to be under some sort of seal, not releasing even a trace of primordial chi. This was quite normal. Generally speaking, in the absence of external interference, a primordial chi vortex would slowly release heavenly earth vital energy in all directions. But by doing so, the concentration of vital energy at the vortex's core would decrease. Therefore, as long as the primordial chi vortex has a master, it would be isolated from the outside world to enhance the energy concentration within the area. As this underground palace was the stronghold of the Moyang Demon Lord, there would no doubt be no leakage of primordial chi. This will be sufficient for my breakthrough to the 5th rank. Lin Yuan nodded slightly, clearly satisfied in his heart. Respected master, I will lead the way. Nuan Shu took the initiative, triggered a nearby mechanism, and the hill in front of them suddenly revealed an entrance. Under the hills, within a spacious underground palace, 9 great demon lords gathered in a grand hall, engaged in fierce debate. In principle, as 9th realm demon lords, peak powerhouses of the 5 domains, it was unlikely for them to gather in one place. They were usually scattered across the 5 domains, each presiding over their own territories. Yet now they were assembled in the palace, arguing with each other. The reason was the matter of Xiahou Yuan leaving the Great Abyss. The 9 demon lords were the capable subordinates of Xiahou Yuan back in his day. After Xiahou Yuan was suppressed, they simply divided up the territory of the former demonic Tao. And they had no intention of rescuing Xiahou Yuan. Rescue Xiahou Yuan? For what purpose? While Xiahou Yuan was in power, these demon lords who roamed the 5 domains, all had their hands tied, Even the slaughtering of a village for practice was greatly restricted. On the surface, it seemed that Xiahou Yuan led the forces of the demonic Tao in the 5 domains to confront the righteous powers like the Tianjin sect. The influence of the demonic Tao was unprecedented. It was quite a spectacle. But the bitterness of that only they knew. With Xiahou Yuan around, it was as if a sharp sword hung over the heads of all the demons in the world. They could no longer kill at will in their practice. If Xiahou Yuan hadn't been so terrifying, wielding an incomprehensible suppressing force over the demons, let alone facing the righteous forces like the Tianjin sect in battle, these 9 great demon lords would have rebelled long ago. Xiahou Yuan has emerged, what should we do? What the hell happened with Tianjin? Wasn't it said that escaping the 18 layers of the Great Abyss was as hard as adding wings to a tiger? Useless. First, we need to confirm whether Xiahou Yuan leaving the Great Abyss is true or false. The demon lords questioned each other, and no matter how much they suppressed it, the terrifying aura distinctive of a demon lord burst forth, making it impossible for average 7th realm or 8th realm powerhouses to even approach. Enough. Xiahou Yuan has indeed left the Great Abyss. One of the demon lords spoke up. His eyes were narrow, projecting a kind of soft yet sinister quality. Xianxia, who was stationed outside the Great Abyss, is dead, and so are the guardians. Someone has already performed the soul search. The demon lord paused for a moment before saying again, Xiahou Yuan has indeed emerged. With this statement, the grand hall fell into silence. All the demon lords became silent. Xiahou Yuan had come out. So what should they do now? Continue to watch and wait? Or take the initiative to admit their wrongs? If they continue to watch, what if they provoke Xiahou Yuan? But if they proactively admit fault, would Xiahou Yuan forgive them? The demon lords pondered over and felt that no matter what choice they made, the consequences would be difficult to handle. Not only has Xiahou Yuan come out, his strength has at least recovered to the 9th realm. At that moment, a plump and beautiful demon lordess spoke. The 9th realm? How is that possible? A hot-tempered demon lord could not hold back anymore. Not to mention that under suppression, Xiahou Yuan's physical body and primordial spirit had already been sealed by Tianjin and other 9th realm peak powerhouses, and his bones were penetrated with Millennium Deep-Sea Fine Gold to lock his limbs. Chapter 155. The Vast Magic Power, Subscription Request, _2 being suppressed in the depths of the Great Abyss for 18 layers over 25 years, let alone a 9th realm powerhouse, even those rare 10th realm individuals seen once in tens of thousands of years would find it hard to bear, right? A while ago, I secretly pushed Bian Mao, Yin Shirlu and other 8th realm pinnacle demons to make a move against Xiahou Yuan. The result? Bian Mao and the others have not contacted me to this day. The plump beautiful woman spoke. In fact, she had more information that she hadn't mentioned, such as not only Bian Mao and Yin Shirlu but also one of her disciples. Bian Mao, Yin Shirlu. Upon hearing this, the expression of the demon lords present darkened. They had also heard of these rising stars of the demonic Tao. Especially Yin Shirlu, whose assassination techniques were enough to make 9th realm powerhouses wary. It's impossible for ordinary 9th realm individuals to deal with these two quietly. The plump beautiful woman said that Xiahou Yuan had already recovered to 9th realm strength, and she meant no exaggeration. Moyang, why don't you say something? What should we do now? A demon lord frowned, looking towards Moyang demon lord, who was seated at the head. This gathering of demon lords was entirely due to the invitation of Moyang demon lord. When Xiahou Yuan was around, they served under the demon lord as led by Moyang demon lord. After Xiahou Yuan's suppression, the 9 demon lords scattered, but it was Moyang demon lord whose influence was greatest. What to do? Anyway, I don't want to go back to those old days. Moyang demon lord chuckled coldly. The other 8 demon lords, hearing Moyang demon lord's stance, immediately breathed a sigh of relief. It wasn't just Moyang demon lord, none of them wanted that. Moyang, please share your thoughts. The demon lord who started speaking immediately asked. Knowing Moyang demon lord as they did, they were sure he wouldn't speak with such confidence without a solid plan. Xiahou Yuan, coming out from the Great Abyss, will definitely seek revenge against the Tianjin sect. 25 years ago, Tianjin personally sealed Xiahou Yuan. Do you think Xiahou Yuan could endure not avenging this? Moyang demon lord countered. Indeed. That Tianjin was no saint either, using by Qinger, that vile woman, to break Xiahou Yuan's spirit. Now that Xiahou Yuan has emerged, he likely won't trouble us for the time being. But the Tianjin sect is not easy to provoke, and Tianjin is even recognized as the strongest in the world. As Xiahou Yuan seeks revenge against the Tianjin sect, we only need to watch, the demon lords thought along the lines Moyang Demon Lord suggested. They all exhaled in relief. But what if? What if Xiahou Yuan doesn't target the Tianjin sect but comes after us instead? The plump beautiful woman frowned and voiced the concern of many demon lords. Indeed. What if? Xiahou Yuan was a man who never conformed to normal reasoning. What if? Moyang Demon Lord chuckled coldly again. That's exactly why I called you all here. Although the likelihood is small, we still need to consider it. Moyang Demon Lord, having lived for hundreds of years, naturally thought everything through. This underground palace, which took me 20 years to construct, is equipped with 9 sky-ranked demon formations. We 9 demon lords, just by sitting within these 9 formations and utilizing the geographical advantage, can hold off even a 10th realm powerhouse for a while. That Xiahou Yuan will definitely be at a loss against us, and he naturally won't engage with us indefinitely. Even if he does persist, we can secretly contact Tianjin Zi, who I'm certain is very interested in Xiahou Yuan. Moyang Demon Lord asserted with confidence. Being a demon lord, he did not mind cooperating with lawful forces. 9 sky-ranked demon formations? Moyang, you've really gone all out. No wonder I felt a bit oppressed when I entered this underground palace. It was the sky-ranked demon formations. The other demon lords were slightly shocked upon hearing this. They were well aware of the formidable nature of the sky-ranked demon formation. One such formation could potentially suppress a 9th realm powerhouse. What to speak of 9? All right. These are the vital points of the sky-ranked demon formations. Familiarize yourselves with them. Moyang Demon Lord, with a thought, sent 8 jade stones to the 8 demon lords. Vital points. Brilliant, these 9 formations are not separate entities but rather like a whole. As main formation demon lords, with just a thought, we can control the power of the great formation. The 8 demon lords quickly comprehended, overwhelmed with joy. No wonder Moyang Demon Lord was so calm. It turned out he had such a trump card. At this point, the faces of the 8 demon lords finally showed a relaxed smile, their spirits having not been at ease since they learned of Xiahou Yuan's emergence. Just at this moment, a man in black tight-fitting clothes, looking panicked, ran in. Demon Lord, there are people who have intruded. The man in tight clothes was trembling as he spoke, clearly still finding it hard to believe at this moment. Someone has intruded? Moyang Demon Lord's pupils tightened. As the master builder of this underground palace, he had arranged a large number of followers outside, with more than 10 demons from the 8th realm. In such a situation, how could outsiders possibly break in? The underground palace was crisscrossed, suppressed by a sky-ranked great formation, rendering ordinary exploration methods utterly ineffective. Even 9th realm powerhouses could be trapped for a while. What exactly is going on? Moyang Demon Lord was about to inquire. A series of light footsteps sounded. A few demon lords looked up to see a tall woman standing at the doorway. Upon seeing this woman, the 9 demon lords furrowed their brows tightly. Nuanshu. How come you? Moyang Demon Lord was astonished in his heart. The other 8 demon lords were equally baffled. They naturally recognized Nuanshu. Back when Xiahou Yuan was still around, Nuanshu was one of the 36 protectors just below their rank as the 9 great demon lords. Just as Moyang Demon Lord was about to continue asking. Next to Nuanshu, a tall figure appeared at some unknown time. At the sight of the tall figure, the minds of the 9 great demon lords roared. Xiahou Yuan? The 9 great demon lords looked as if they had seen a ghost. They were just discussing how to face Xiahou Yuan. Unexpectedly, Xiahou Yuan appeared before them. My lord. Moyang Demon Lord immediately reacted. He bowed slightly to Xiahou Yuan and spoke in a low voice. May I know what brings my lord to this underground palace? Although he was sincerely unwilling to face Xiahou Yuan. Thinking back to the days when he was under Xiahou Yuan's rule, Moyang Demon Lord felt he could struggle a bit. After all, with the strategies Moyang Demon Lord had laid out over the years, including the 9 sky-ranked great formations and the 9 9th realm demon lords, even facing the former Xiahou Yuan, Moyang Demon Lord was not entirely desperate. This place belongs to me, how about it? Lin Yuan glanced around, sensing the heavenly earth vital energy filling the air, and spoke. My lord, you must be jesting? Moyang Demon Lord's face stiffened. After 20 years of hardship and effort, he had built this underground palace. How could he possibly hand it over so easily? Not to mention with 9 sky-ranked demon formations inside, Moyang Demon Lord believed himself to be fearless against anyone. If you want, give it, I will come and take it. Lin Yuan stepped forward directly and entered the palace. Attack. Moyang Demon Lord tensed up and without a second word, communicated fully with the sky-rank demon formation. The other 8 demon lords exchanged looks. At this moment they all stood on the same side, none wanting to be ruled by Xiahou Yuan again. Boom! From every direction. All around. The air suddenly condensed. An invisible pressure emerged. Streams of demonic chi emanated from all around the great hall. 1 birthed 2, 2 birthed 4, 4 birthed 8. In an instant. An endless intertwining of demonic chi followed a specific trajectory, forming a killing formation. However, just as Lin Yuan's right foot stepped on the floor of the inner hall, the previously emerging infinite demonic chi suddenly solidified. Already formed and comprised entirely of demonic chi, the killing formation began to boil as if commanded, all revolving under Lin Yuan's feet, a force far surpassing the previous burst forth explosively. The demonic power was vast. Lin Yuan walked into the inner hall, and the 9th realm peak Moyang Demon Lord had already knelt down, unable to rise even without knowing why. Facing Lin Yuan at this moment, he couldn't help but continuously bow his head. Lin Yuan walked past one demon lord after another, all prostrated and trembling. He ascended the steps, turned around and sat on the main seat in the great hall. Leaning slightly, he looked down at the people in the hall who were bowing their heads like pounding garlic. Chapter 156 5th rank. Please subscribe. Atop the grand hall, Lin Yuan sat in the place of honor, his gaze overlooking all, a deity amongst mortals. The 9 heavenly demon formations vibrated ceaselessly. As if they had encountered their master, they finally calmed down after a long while. Xiahou Yuan was extremely special. Among the myriad demons of the world, any who practiced the demonic Tao would have to kowtow upon seeing him, a suppression born of their life essence. Even those with greater strength than Xiahou Yuan would be affected, only the impact was less severe. They wouldn't have to prostrate themselves upon meeting. Of course, only Xiahou Yuan himself was clear on this matter. As for the devil lords and demon lords who had followed Xiahou Yuan, they were oblivious to the subtleties, only sensing an inability to harbor any thoughts of rebellion against him. Moyang Demon Lord and the other 8 great demon lords, believing that with the 9 heavenly demon formations, they could force Xiahou Yuan to retreat, or at the very least, hold him off. But alas! The 9th grade formations were powerful indeed, but they required the devils to control them. As long as it involved these devils, Xiahou Yuan would stand on unbeaten ground. This was also the confidence that underpinned Lin Yuan's decision to enter the underground palace alone. Outside the underground palace, Lin Yuan had long since sensed the auras of those 9 demon lords. Besides, the current Xiahou Yuan was no longer the Xiahou Yuan of the past. With the many methods at Lin Yuan's disposal, he would only be stronger than the original Xiahou Yuan, and certainly nothing untoward would happen. As Lin Yuan, seated in the main seat of the hall, retracted his aura, the 8 demon lords and Moyang Demon Lord all felt a sense of relief. It was as if they had put down a weight of 10,000 caddies and could at least regain some control over themselves, no longer compelled as before, to kneel and knock their foreheads to the ground without restraint. Yet even then none of the 9 dared to rise on their own accord, still kneeling with utmost respect and caution. The scene that had unfolded earlier would be hard to forget for the rest of their lives. Especially Moyang Demon Lord, who was acutely aware of that deep-rooted fear from his soul and spirit. Why, it's been 25 years, Moyang Demon Lord trembled in spirit. He had felt this way before Xiahou Yuan 25 years ago. He had thought that after 25 years with his strength advanced by half a step, reaching the pinnacle of the 9th realm, and with Xiahou Yuan being suppressed for 25 years, with his flesh bound by millennium deep seabed metal, even if he could emerge, his strength would not be at its peak. Given the change of both sides' circumstances, facing Xiahou Yuan again surely wouldn't be like 25 years ago, would it? But reality gave him a harsh slap in the face. No change. Not the slightest. Whether it was the 9 great demon lords or initiating the 9 heavenly demon formations, no matter how strong they were, upon seeing Xiahou Yuan, they were like mice before a cat, trembling as they awaited judgment. "We welcome your excellency for breaking the great abyss seal," Moyang Demon Lord, steadying his spirit, immediately said respectfully to Lin Yuan sitting in the main seat. He understood that his life hung by a thread. If he did not continue to show his submission with Xiahou Yuan's former temperament, he surely would not hesitate to kill him. What a joke. The former Xiahou Yuan was decisive in killing, cold and ruthless. Before that great battle of good and evil 25 years ago, nobody would have imagined Xiahou Yuan falling for a woman. "Your Excellency?" The other 8 demon lords took a deep breath and spoke in unison. We welcome your excellency for breaking the Great Abyss seal. Lin Yuan, seated in the place of honor, wasn't particularly surprised. The devil lords wouldn't care much for face and dignity, the demon lords were not an exception. Under the pressure of life and death, resubmitting to Xiahou Yuan was only natural. Perhaps life under Xiahou Yuan's rule wouldn't be easy, but if they didn't submit, there wouldn't be any life to speak of thereafter. All of you rise. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment before speaking directly. For nearly 25 years, all information concerning the 5 domains, particularly that of the Tianjin sect, bring it all to me. Lin Yuan's visit to the underground palace was not only to find a suitable place for breakthrough but also to consolidate the scattered demonic Tao forces. In any world, even if one were unmatched, acting alone was always somewhat inconvenient. One can't be expected to do everything personally, can they? Lin Yuan's subjugation of the 9 great demon lords and the absorption of the remaining demonic Tao forces required no cost and didn't need to start from scratch. With Xiahou Yuan's deterrence, not a single devil dared to entertain any ulterior motives. 25 years ago, Xiahou Yuan's flesh and primordial spirit were sealed and suppressed in the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss ground. Those devils didn't even dare to approach, let alone kick a man when he was down. Even the 9th grade demon lords would merely glance from afar, and after confirming that Xiahou Yuan couldn't get out, they would quickly leave. The universal fear of Xiahou Yuan among all devils was evident. Yes, Moyang Demon Lord slowly stood up respectful. Your subordinate will retrieve it for your excellency now. Shortly after, Moyang Demon Lord re-entered the grand hall. Following him were several subordinates, carrying a pile of jade stones. Your excellency, these jade stones contain all intelligence on the situation of the 5 domains. Intelligence on the righteous forces such as the Tianjin sect is right at the front, Moyang Demon Lord respectfully said. Even without Lin Yuan's asking, Moyang Demon Lord paid close attention to the movements of the righteous forces like the Tianjin sect. Good. Lin Yuan nodded in satisfaction. He then picked up the jade stones and probed them with his mind, swiftly absorbing the information. After a short while, Lin Yuan put down the slabs, his brows slightly furrowed. Moyang Demon Lord presented hundreds of jade stones, meticulously containing intelligence from all quarters of the 5 domains, among which Lin Yuan found the information he was interested in. 20 years ago, a sign of good omen suddenly appeared at the mountain gate of Tianjin sect, with a massive convergence of heavenly earth vital energy. Chapter 157 5th rank, please subscribe, _2. 15 years ago, the Tianjin sect's mountain once again gathered heavenly earth vital energy. For the following 2 years, primordial qi within 100 li of the Tianjin sect was scarce. 4 years ago, the Tianjin sect once again gathered heavenly earth vital energy, and all living beings nearby felt as if they were under the pressure of Mount Tai. Numerous pieces of information coalesced in Lin Yuan's mind. The Tianjin sect possessed a large heavenly grade energy vortex, with abundant primordial qi inside the sect, enough for 9th realm cultivators' daily consumption. Despite this, there had still been 5 occurrences when primordial qi within 100 or several hundred li converged towards the Tianjin sect. What did this indicate? It indicated that the primordial qi emitted by the energy vortex was no longer sufficient for the cultivation of a certain entity. 10th realm. Lin Yuan set down the jade stone and had a speculation in his heart. Only the legendary 10th realm could cause such a wide-ranging change in heavenly earth vital energy. Of course, this is not to say that Tianjinzi had already broken through to the 10th realm. If that were the case, Xiahou Yuan wouldn't have survived past 25 years. A 10th realm powerhouse, even if Xiahou Yuan managed to escape with his primordial spirit, would hardly be able to flee. If Tianjinzi had become a 10th realm powerhouse, he would have surely come to the Great Abyss in person at the very first opportunity to completely resolve the significant worry that Xiahou Yuan posed. It is only from the changes in heavenly earth vital energy that one can deduce that Tianjinzi was already attempting to break through to the 10th realm. And he was about to succeed, for the range of the last heavenly earth vital energies coverage had reached nearly 1,000 li. The cultivation speed is quite fast. Lin Yuan stroked his chin. In Xiahou Yuan's memories 25 years ago, Tianjinzi was indeed at the peak of the 9th realm, but he was quite far from the 10th realm. However, it's still not as fast as me. Lin Yuan was unconcerned. In the previous 3 worlds he had traversed, as well as in the vast main world, regarding pure cultivation speed, Lin Yuan had never seen anyone stronger than him. Perhaps some higher bloodline, peak bloodline special life forms have a starting point far beyond Lin Yuan, but their subsequent cultivation speed is definitely not as fast as Lin Yuan's. I will break through to the 5th rank first. Lin Yuan felt no pressure whatsoever. If it were the original Xiahou Yuan, the first thing he would do after escaping would probably be to head to the outside of Tianjin Sect's mountain gate to seek vengeance on Tianjinzi and to confront Bai Qing'er about her betrayal. However, Lin Yuan wasn't that foolish. With his current power and methods, even if he truly encountered a 10th realm powerhouse, he could still exchange a few moves or even have an equal battle. But there was no need for that. Lin Yuan most disliked evenly matched battles. With his against heaven's understanding, just a few decades of cultivation would be enough to completely surpass the opponent by one or even several great realms, sweeping through all with overwhelming force. Why rush at this moment? The vitality spring beneath this underground palace. Where exactly is it? Lin Yuan, sitting in the main seat, suddenly spoke. Reporting to your eminence, subordinates are incompetent and have not found the true core of the energy vortex to this day. Moyang Demon Lord spoke with a tone of shame. The true core of the energy vortex, also known as the vitality spring, is the source of the vortex's energy. However, the vitality spring is concealed underground, surrounded by a vast abundance of heavenly earth vital energy, making it difficult to pinpoint its precise location. After Moyang Demon Lord discovered this energy vortex, he searched for it for decades without success. He then simply stopped searching, built the underground palace and sealed the energy emitted by the vortex. After all, the vitality spring was beneath the ground and couldn't escape. He could search slowly in the future. Never mind. Today I will find it for you. Lin Yuan stood up and walked towards the depths of the underground palace. Moyang Demon Lord and the other 8 demon lords immediately followed quickly. Your Eminence, wait for me. Nuan Shu immediately stuck close behind Lin Yuan. They walked for an indeterminate amount of time. Can your Eminence really find it? Moyang Demon Lord and the other demon lords looked at each other with some doubt. Even for a 10th realm powerhouse, it was very difficult to directly locate the position of the vitality spring. This had nothing to do with power. Around the vitality spring, the heavenly earth vital energy was dense and invisibly suppressed the cultivator's divine sense. Even a 10th realm powerhouse without the use of divine sense would be like a blind person searching for the vitality spring underground, no better than a 9th realm cultivator. Just then, Lin Yuan in front suddenly stopped. Your Eminence. Moyang Demon Lord was about to speak, but saw Lin Yuan raise his hand and gently press towards the front right. Boom. A large section of soil collapsed. A dark space was revealed. All could see a milky white spring gushing continuously. The spring was several meters across, it was bottomless and the surging heavenly earth vital energy was pressurized within the spring water. Upon closer inspection, one would discover that all the water was composed of the highly concentrated heavenly earth vital energy. Moreover, around the spring, several peculiar flowers and herbs were blooming. A vitality spring? Moyang Demon Lord's eyes widened as he instinctively swallowed his saliva. Whether one is a cultivator of the righteous path or the demonic Tao, they can cultivate by absorbing heavenly earth vital energy. However, for practitioners of the demonic Tao, this method is too inefficient. Why bother when directly killing and plundering can achieve faster results? Yet the vitality spring before him was filled with a substantial amount of heavenly earth vital energy, making it a great supplement even for a 9th realm demon lord. This appears to be a mid-sized heavenly grade energy vortex, not bad at all. With this vitality spring, breaking through to the 5th rank shouldn't be a problem. A smile of joy emerged on Lin Yuan's face. The vitality spring of the Tianjin sect was at least large-sized, a level higher than the vitality spring before Lin Yuan. However, Tianjinzi, aiming for the 10th realm, would not dare to fully absorb the sect's vitality spring, as the future disciples of the Tianjin sect relied on it for cultivation. Therefore, over the past 20+ years, Tianjinzi's attempts at breaking through to the 10th realm involved absorbing the primordial qi within 100 miles or more. This method was slow to show results, but there was no other choice. However, Lin Yuan was different. He had no reservations about using this vitality spring. Moreover, the dozen or so spiritual medicines surrounding the vitality spring are treasures, comparable to 4-star or 5-star cosmic rare treasures. Lin Yuan's gaze grew fervent. I will make my breakthrough here. Lin Yuan made up his mind instantly. It would be a waste not to take advantage of such an excellent location for a breakthrough. As Lin Yuan secluded himself for a breakthrough to the 5th rank, the 5 domains mainland was increasingly affected by the emergence of demon venerable Xiahou Yuan. Xiahou Yuan has emerged and the world is likely to be in turmoil next. Indeed, if I were Xiahou Yuan after being suppressed for decades, I would definitely seek fierce revenge upon my release. I wonder when the conflicts of this world will cease. Cease? As long as there are people, it will never stop. 25 years ago, the righteous powers started a great war against the demonic forces under the banner of suppressing Xiahou Yuan to bring peace to the world. But what after that? Xiahou Yuan was indeed suppressed, but there was no peace. Those demon lords became like unshackled madmen. The forces and cultivators of the 5 domains quickly exchanged information. Especially the powers that had participated in the suppression of Xiahou Yuan, they suddenly became panicked, fearing that Xiahou Yuan might target them first after his escape as a way to collect some interest for past events. This won't do, I must go to the Tianjian sect to discuss what we should do next. Right, if it weren't for Tianjian, we wouldn't have offended Xiahou Yuan so grievously. Let's go and demand an explanation from Tianjian. Cultivators from many different powers, including 9th realm powerhouses, all headed towards the Tianjian sect. Meanwhile, Tianjian sect. Mist swirling, resembling an immortal realm. Suddenly, rumbling sounds, a terrifying aura spread, under which even the lofty 9th realm practitioners felt uneasy. Sect leader. The sect leader has emerged. The elders of the Tianjian sect, seeing this, became excited and bowed towards the highest peak's palace. Half a month later, the terrifying aura that enveloped the entire palace gradually dissipated, and a man with white hair slowly walked out. Tianjian. Greetings, sect leader. Sect leader, you have finally emerged. The numerous disciples of Tianjian sect breathed a sigh of relief. During this time, strong cultivators from the 5 domains came every day, seeking an audience with Tianjian, asking how to deal with Xiahou Yuan. If it had just been 1 or 2 people, it wouldn't have mattered. The Tianjian sect, as the foremost power of the 5 domains, with Tianjian as the world's strongest, could surely hold its ground. But it wasn't just 1 or 2 people. It was hundreds, 200, several hundred thousands. And they were all leaders of major forces or even 9th realm powerhouses. Under such circumstances, the Tianjian sect felt overwhelmed. Especially since Tianjian, a core figure of the sect, was still in seclusion and could not make an appearance. One could only imagine how much pressure the Tianjian sect had been under during this time. But now, it was all over. Chapter 158 The Demon and the Good Person. Subscription request. Perhaps most disciples of the Tianjian sect don't realize what Tianjian's emergence from seclusion truly signifies. But the vice sect leaders and elders of the Tianjian sect are well aware that Tianjian's emergence may very well be the step taken, surpassing the 9th realm, becoming one of the rare 10th realm powerhouses that only appear once every tens of thousands of years. Sect leader. Some elder of the Tianjian sect looking at Tianjian's figure had reddened eyes. In this generation of the Tianjian sect, at last, another 10th realm was born. With Tianjian's emergence from seclusion, strands of an aura superior to that of the 9th realm spread and permeated the area. Within the Tianjian sect, those powerhouses who came over due to Xiahou Yuan's issue changed their expressions abruptly. More than 10 figures soared into the sky, looking incredulously at Tianjian with his hands behind his back. Tianjian you? These more than 10 figures were naturally 9th realm powerhouses. They had gathered here precisely to wait for Tianjian's response. Tianjian, have you taken that step? An elderly 9th realm powerhouse's voice trembled, unable to refrain from asking. As a 9th realm powerhouse, he naturally could sense that Tianjian's aura had completely transcended the 9th realm. It wasn't just a half step out, and it wasn't just infinitely close. It was a full transcendence. If the 9th realm powerhouses were akin to the moon high up in the sky, looking down at the mortal world, then now Tianjian was like the vast starry heavens, where even the great moon was just a corner in the stars. Indeed. Tianjian nodded slightly, his expression arrogantly proud. We have seen the sect leader of the Tianjian sect. More than 10 9th realm powerhouses from various major forces took a deep breath and bowed in unison. Since ancient times, there have indeed been beings who surpassed the 9th realm and reached the 10th realm. But over tens of thousands of years, such characters can be counted with one hand, and each one is a legend that has dominated an era. And now, in their era, will another such heaven-defying existence appear? The more than 10 9th realm powerhouses looked at each other with mixed feelings in their hearts. The good news was that since Tianjian had taken that step forward, Xiahou Yuan naturally posed no threat. The concern was that now that Tianjian's strength had truly reached the invincible stage, could the major forces of the 5 domains still maintain an equal status with the Tianjian sect? The more than 10 9th realm powerhouses, along with the cultivators gathered at the Tianjian sect, paid their respects to Tianjian, the newly advanced 10th realm powerhouse. Then they asked how to deal with Xiahou Yuan. Now that I have entered the 10th realm, Xiahou Yuan poses no threat, Tianjianzi said with a calm smile and continued, however Xiahou Yuan is cunning and insidious. If we actively search for him we might startle the grass and scare the snake. With these words, everyone present nodded in agreement. Indeed, the guy is not a fool. If the forces of the righteous sects attacked proactively, revealing their full confidence, it would undoubtedly scare Xiahou Yuan away. Then Xiahou Yuan might check the reason behind it and upon learning that Tianjianzi had broken through to the 10th realm, it would be even less likely for him to present himself willingly. Therefore in this breakthrough, I used a secret technique to meticulously conceal my aura and prevent the phenomenon of my breakthrough from spreading outside the Tianjin sect. This means that, as of now, only you here are aware that I have stepped into the 10th realm. Tianjianzi said this, paused for a moment, then continued, to ensure this matter remains a secret, everyone should stay here for the next period of time. In the past, I suppressed Xiahou Yuan, and we developed an enmity as deep as life and death. As soon as he recovers his strength, he will certainly rush over to take his revenge. We only need to wait for him to come to us. Tianjian's expression was one of assured victory. Masterful strategy, sect leader, the others present suddenly understood. With Xiahou Yuan's strength, if he truly wanted to hide, even a 10th realm powerhouse might not be able to find him. The 5 domains mainland is vast and boundless. If Xiahou Yuan were to nestle in some corner, how could a 10th realm powerhouse search for him? But leveraging the enmity between Xiahou Yuan and Tianjianzi, coupled with concealing the information, enticing Xiahou Yuan to come on his own was indeed the best strategy. By then, even if Xiahou Yuan recovers to his peak, he would still be just a 9th realm in the face of a 10th realm Tianjianzi, and he probably wouldn't have a chance to struggle. The so-called soul out-of-body parasitism skill, which poses a threat to 9th realm powerhouses, stands no chance before a 10th realm powerhouse. A single strike could shatter the physical body and primordial spirit to dust. Time passed. Years went by in the blink of an eye. In the underground palace, Moyang Demon Lord and the other 8 demon lords were guarding outside the Vitality Spring, to avoid any mishaps while Lin Yuan was in seclusion. I wonder how the revered one is doing in his seclusion? Moyang Demon Lord was somewhat curious. Over these years, he had a clear sense that the concentration of heavenly earth vital energy around him was decreasing at a terrifying rate. The cause was obvious. It was Lin Yuan who was absorbing the Vitality Spring. But the more it was the case, the more unbelievable it was to Moyang Demon Lord because a medium-sized Vitality Spring isn't something common. The daily heavenly earth vital energy emitted by a medium-sized Vitality Spring alone would suffice the daily cultivation needs of several 9th realm experts, and the rapid decline of primordial chi concentration around them clearly indicated that the Vitality Spring was being voraciously depleted. If it were Moyang Demon Lord, attempting to absorb such a high degree of primordial chi from the Vitality Spring in such a short period would probably cause his body to burst from the massive primordial chi influx. There's definitely nothing wrong with the revered one. Nuan Shu glanced at Moyang Demon Lord. She placed almost worshipful trust in Lin Yuan. Seeing Moyang Demon Lord mumbling like that, she thought he was harboring some ill intentions again. The heavens can bear witness that I, Moyang, have no second thoughts towards the revered one, Moyang Demon Lord quickly said, although Nuan Shu's cultivation was not nearly as high as his. Chapter 159 The Demon and the Good Person Subscription Request _2 But he could not withstand the other party's high standing in the Lord's heart, especially over the past 20+ years, while other demons hesitated, only Nuan and Sidhu wholeheartedly devoted themselves to the Lord. In comparison, setting aside demons like Moyang Demon Lord for a moment, the importance of Nuan Shu must have grown significantly in the Lord's heart. If Nuan Shu were to speak ill of him in the Lord's ear, Moyang Demon Lord would really struggle to bear it. At this moment, Moyang Demon Lord was feeling some regret. Had he known the Lord would emerge from the great abyss, he would definitely have been the first to rescue him. Hope so. Nuan Shu coldly snorted again, not pursuing the matter further. Just then, boom. A vast aura surged out from the space where the Vitality Spring was located, filling the entire underground palace. In front of this aura, even a strong 9th realm limit cultivator like Moyang Demon Lord had to keep retreating, somewhat unable to withstand it. Lord, has the Lord broken through to the 10th realm? Moyang Demon Lord was shocked. He had already suspected as much when the Vitality Spring was being heavily consumed. Other than striking at the legendary 10th realm, who else would consume the Vitality Spring like this? For a cultivator, heavenly earth vital energy is like food. And consuming too much food can burst one's stomach. Only breakthroughs in cultivation will consume massive amounts of heavenly earth vital energy to replenish oneself. The 10th realm. The other 8 demon lords exchanged looks. Since ancient times, the limit for demonic Tao practitioners has been the 9th realm. No demon had ever reached the 10th realm. 25 years ago, if Lin Yuan had broken through to the 10th realm, there would have been no business for Tianjin sect. The entire 5 domains mainland would have become the domain of the demonic Tao. While Moyang Demon Lord and the others were lost in thought, a tall figure emerged from the space where the Vitality Spring was located. Lin Yuan appeared, his expression calm, strolling out as if an ordinary person, devoid of any detectable aura. Yet Moyang Demon Lord and the other demons grew even more respectful, recognizing this as the realm of returning to the primordial state. Lord? Moyang Demon Lord followed behind Lin Yuan, towards the hall of the underground palace. Next. Moyang Demon Lord started reporting on recent events as expected. Once finished, Moyang Demon Lord could not help asking, Lord, have you stepped into the 10th realm? As soon as he said these words, everyone perked up their ears. This was about the 10th realm. A domain that all demons from ages past had never entered. Even in the 5 domains mainland, there have been very few 10th realm powerhouses for tens of thousands of years, not exceeding 5 individuals. The 10th realm. Lin Yuan looked down at everyone and shook his head slightly. I am not in the 10th realm. Lin Yuan was indeed not in the 10th realm. He was at the 5th rank. Known as a continent-sinking 5th rank evolver in the main world. As for this world's 10th realm, strictly speaking, it is merely comparable to the transition stage between the 4th and 5th rank. If there must be a comparison, then at least the 11th realm would be equivalent to the 5th rank. 5th rank, Lin Yuan felt the immense power within him. It was a terrifying force capable of breaking continental plates and bringing an apocalyptic end to life on a planet. In the main world, a 5th rank evolver is revered as the strongest being on the surface, and the battle between 2 5th rank evolvers could lead to billions of deaths on a planet. Some powerful 5th rank evolvers could even turn a life planet into a dead star, where life would no longer emerge for tens of thousands of years. Just this world, Lin Yuan fell into thought. The world he was in now was far vaster than a middle-grade life planet in the main world, almost comparable to a higher-grade life planet. Its continental framework was vast and robust. Only at the 5th stage peak could one have the assurance to break through. Take it slow. It's only been 30 years. There's still 170 years left. Lin Yuan was not in a rush. He still had plenty of time before he would leave this world. Not the 10th realm? Moyang Demon Lord was somewhat baffled. Just by the immense aura Lin Yuan emitted during his cultivation, how could he still be in the 9th realm? It should be noted that Moyang Demon Lord himself was at the peak of the 9th realm, yet even so, he could not endure the aura that Lin Yuan had just released. How could this still be the 9th realm? Moyang could not understand. But Lin Yuan had no reason to deceive him. Since he said he was not in the 10th realm, then he certainly was not in the 10th realm. Could it be a half step into the 10th realm? Moyang Demon Lord could only guess as much. Just a half step into the 10th realm, at most stronger than him. It couldn't possibly reach the point of absolute suppression, could it? I don't care anymore. Whether the Demon Lord emerged at the 9th realm or the 10th realm, there's no difference to me. Moyang Demon Lord simply stopped overthinking it. Time passed. Half a year went by. One day Lin Yuan was cultivating. Nuan Shu hurriedly walked in, stopped behind Lin Yuan and whispered, My lord, someone is looking for you. Looking for me? Lin Yuan opened his eyes. It's... Nuan Shu also seemed to find this person surprising, even inconceivable. It's the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect. Nuan Shu hesitated for a moment, then whispered. Jianghu sect. Lin Yuan fell into thought. Jianghu sect was a force in the eastern region, second only to Tianjin sect, a colossal figure renowned across the 5 domains. Each generation of Jianghu sect had 9th realm powerhouses in charge, with a profound foundation. 25 years ago, during the great battle between good and evil, Jianghu sect also contributed to the suppression of Xiahou Yuan. And the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect, although only possessing 8th realm strength, held a high position within Jianghu sect, with even the contemporary 9th realm sect master being his disciple. What did he come for? Lin Yuan's expression grew contemplative. He claims to have crucial intelligence that he will share only with the Demon Lord. However, I think there's something off about this old man. It's very likely a ploy. My lord should not trust him. Nuan Shu spoke softly. Let him in. Lin Yuan casually remarked. According to Nuan Shu, the supreme elder of Jianghu sect voluntarily blocked his own meridians to meet him. Otherwise, an 8th realm powerhouse wouldn't just see Lin Yuan, he wouldn't even have been able to come to the entrance of the underground palace. If Nuan Shu hadn't confirmed that the supreme elder of Jianghu sect posed no threat, she would not have brought him over. A moment later, an old man with white hair and beard entered the great hall. On either side, 9 demon lords cast sideways glances, while a towering figure above on the high podium looked down upon him. I pay my respects to the demon lord. The old man's face remained calm as he slightly bowed to Lin Yuan. Interesting. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face, a righteous sect's supreme elder coming to see a demon like me and even bowing? From a status perspective, the supreme elder of Jianghu sect, upon encountering Xiahou Yuan, wouldn't have restrained himself from attacking right there and then. Bowing? It was nothing short of fantastical. People are ignorant only knowing that demons thrive in chaos, but you, demon lord, are different from the others. The white-haired supreme elder of Jianghu sect confidently began to speak. Is that so? Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. I have lived for 400 to 500 years and have seen what the 5 domains were like before the demon lord's emergence. The white-haired supreme elder of Jianghu sect paused for effect, then added solemnly, 280 years ago the demon lord appeared out of nowhere. And before the emergence of the demon lord, the demons of the world held no fear. Old man, what nonsense are you spouting? Moyang demon lord's eyelid twitched. What the supreme elder of Jianghu sect said was true. Before Xiahou Yuan's demonic power fully grew, demons rampaged across the 5 domains, often resulting in the slaughter of entire cities and villages. What exactly are you trying to say? Sitting on the main seat, Lin Yuan asked calmly. I want to tell the demon lord that the current Tianjin sect has become a battleground of dragons and tigers, and even if you desire revenge, you should not risk your life by going there. The supreme elder of Jianghu sect said gravely. Upon hearing this, the demon lords on both sides were instantly surprised. What had happened? Was this supreme elder from Jianghu sect here to deliver a message to the demon lord? Actually, 25 years ago, when Tianjin wanted to battle the demon lord, I advised my disciple against it, but it was futile. Chapter 160, Radiant Yang Spirit and Wandering Yin Spirit, please subscribe. Good person? In both sides of the main hall, Moyang Demon Lord and a host of other demon lords couldn't help but look at each other in disbelief. For demon chiefs like them, Xiahou Yuan was certainly no good person. Before the great war between the righteous and the demonic Tao 30 years ago, why did countless demon chiefs obediently follow orders without revolting under Xiahou Yuan's rule over the 5-domain demonic path? Because those who did not obey were all killed by Xiahou Yuan. The supreme elder of Jianghu sect was right in saying one thing. Xiahou Yuan indeed had his hands stained with blood. But most of that blood belonged to these very demon chiefs. Only then did it belong to those powerful figures in the righteous factions. 3 years ago my disciple went to the Tianjin sect with other sects' powerhouses and has not returned since, and the life fire left at our sect shows no signs of activity. The current Tianjin sect must have gathered more than 70% of the 5 domains powerhouses, and that Tianjin must already have at least half a foot into the 10th realm. If the demon lord is still planning to seek revenge against that Tianjin, think carefully. The supreme elder of Jianghu sect continued. He did not know that Tianjin had already become a strong figure of the 10th realm and was now in the Tianjin sect, waiting like a spider for its prey, waiting for Xiahou Yuan to come seeking revenge. It was only because of his sharp intuition and the lack of any news from his disciple for such a long time that he felt something was amiss. He speculated that Tianjin sect might have set a trap, waiting for Xiahou Yuan to arrive. 30 years ago he did not stop his disciple, leading to the great war between righteous and demonic forces, with Xiahou Yuan being suppressed and the demon chiefs of the 5 domains losing their shackles, allowing the myriad demons in the world to act without inhibition once again. This time the supreme elder of Jianghu sect felt he should do something. At the very least, Xiahou Yuan must not be suppressed again. The thoughts of the supreme elder of Jianghu sect towards Xiahou Yuan, the legendary demon chief, were exceedingly complex. Coming over alone to tell Xiahou Yuan these things was undoubtedly a betrayal of Jianghu sect and a betrayal of the righteous forces. But as long as the situation for the beings of the 5 domains improved slightly, bearing a bit of infamy didn't matter. Are you finished? Lin Yuan's expression was calm. I'm finished, the supreme elder of Jianghu sect said candidly. Take him away and keep him confined. Lin Yuan waved his hand, signaling to Nuan Shu. Yes. Nuan Shu nodded. Immediately he led the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect away. What do you all think? Lin Yuan looked around at the various demon lords. Lord, what this old man said makes some sense, Moyang Demon Lord said after pondering for a moment, aware from the intelligence he held that years ago, a large number of powerhouses from the 5 domains had indeed gone to Tianjin sect. As for their purpose, it could mostly be guessed that it was due to Xiahou Yuan breaking free from his shackles. Nevertheless, being merely a demon chief, Moyang Demon Lord certainly didn't understand the righteous forces like Tianjin sect better than the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect. In that case, do not send anyone near Tianjin sect for the time being, Lin Yuan said. Actually, even if the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect had not come to warn him, Lin Yuan would never foolishly rush to Tianjin sect seeking revenge. Xiahou Yuan might have done such a thing, but Lin Yuan was not Xiahou Yuan. Lin Yuan anticipated that Tianjin Z had already reached the 10th realm, and being in his own territory within the Tianjin mountain sect, he could manipulate the preparation left by ancestors, which fully qualified him to be regarded as a peak 10th realm or simply an 11th realm powerhouse. Lin Yuan wouldn't consider revenge until he cultivated to the 13th realm. And the 13th realm probably corresponds to the 5th rank between the 4th and 6th stages. Underground Palace. In front of the Vitality Spring. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Compared to years ago when it was a medium-sized premier vitality spring gushing out with a volume of several meters in diameter, the current vitality spring had shrunk several times and was merely half a meter in diameter. In truth, if the vitality spring were not connected to the Earth's veins and constantly drawing in primordial chi from hundreds of thousands of miles of Earth veins, it probably would have dried up. It's fine, Lin Yuan glanced at the vitality spring. After breaking through to the 5th rank, his need for heavenly earth vital energy had significantly decreased. Now, this evidently regressed small vitality spring was still sufficient for him. 5th rank, Lin Yuan's consciousness submerged into the Naiwan Palace at the center of his forehead. There he saw a phantom figure sitting cross-legged at the center of a galaxy made of vast amounts of power of Taiyin and Taiyang. This phantom figure, identical to Lin Yuan, sat in the center of the galaxy, resembling an ancient deity. Primordial spirit. At that moment, the phantom figure suddenly opened its eyes, deep in thought. The phantom was Lin Yuan's primordial spirit, condensed from a tremendous amount of soul power. Of course, primordial spirit was the term used in this world. In the main world, they would call this phantom figure a spiritual body, soul body, and so on. The primordial spirit, being condensed from the essence and spirit of the soul, lacked material form, which is why it was terrifyingly fast when wandering outside the body. However, without the protection of the physical body, the primordial spirit was much more vulnerable. There are still flaws. Lin Yuan's primordial spirit carefully sensed its own condition. He had based his path on the way of Taiji, but at this point, the way of Taiji within his divine body was not very conspicuous. Or rather, the power of Taiyin and power of Taiyang had completely fused into one and could no longer be separated, which Lin Yuan found somewhat unsatisfactory. The martial path evolutionary path he pursued allowed control over gathering and dispersing at will, so how could there be a way that only allowed gathering and not dispersing? Continue to refine it. Lin Yuan was not discouraged and focused on cultivation. For pioneers like Lin Yuan, every step taken was into the unknown, requiring continual development and perfection. If he was not satisfied with the primordial spirit, then he would continue to focus on the primordial spirit. If not satisfied with the physical body, then focus on perfecting the physical body. Where there was dissatisfaction, there lay the focus of his attention. Chapter 161, Radiant Yang Spirit and Wandering Yin Spirit. Please subscribe. Understood. Time passed. Another 5 years went by. With the way of Taiji as its foundation, the way of Xian Huang as its framework and countless evolution paths as its flesh, Taiji primordial spirit, emerge. Within the Naiwan Palace at Lin Yuan's Glabella. An endless galaxy composed of Taiyin and Taiyang energies, the primordial spirit sat in the center, suddenly transforming into 2 distinct colors of yin and yang. Immediately after, the primordial spirit separated into 2 figures. One figure was shrouded in the yin energy of Taiyin, its face indistinct. The other figure was enveloped in the bright energy of Taiyang, its eyes radiant. This is the primordial spirit I desired. The 2 primordial spirits gazed at each other. In fact, these 2 figures, rather than being called primordial spirits, would be more appropriate to term as Yin God and Yang Spirit. To be precise, when divided, they are the Yin God and Yang Spirit. When combined, they are the Taiji Primordial Spirit. Yin God. Yang Spirit. In the outside world, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. With a mere thought, the yin god and yang spirit separated from the body. They sat opposite Lin Yuan's original form. Does this count as triumph division of the one qi? Lin Yuan's consciousness split into three, looking at the three versions of himself, a strange expression on his face. Since they all shared the same consciousness, Lin Yuan felt as though had opened three perspectives at this moment. No matter if it's the yin god or the yang spirit, since they are made from the power of the soul, and aren't restricted by a physical body, they naturally can change their size at will, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Lin Yuan speculated, with the current strength of his yin god and yang spirit. If he were to let go completely, they could probably reach a size of 10,000 zhang. Yin god of 10,000 zhang. Yang spirit of 10,000 zhang. At the underground palace hall, Nuan Shu sat at the position below the main seat, frowning in thought. During Lin Yuan's seclusion, the many affairs of the demonic Tao were all decided by Nuan Shu. None of the 9 demon lords had any complaints, nor dared to have any. It's almost 10 years, why has there been no news from Situ the Protector? Nuan Shu's expression showed a trace of worry. Situ the Protector, like Nuan Shu in past years, was one of the 36 protectors under the Demon Lord. He was also just as loyal to the Demon Lord as Nuan Shu. After Xiahou Yuan was suppressed at the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, Nuan Shu convened the remaining demon followers loyal to the Demon Lord, thinking of ways to rescue the Demon Lord. Meanwhile, Situ the Protector infiltrated the Tianjian sect, providing support to Nuan Shu by passing on intelligence from outside. In the era when the Demon Lord ruled over the demons of the 5 domains, Situ the Protector was renowned for his ability to transform and conceal his qi. With Situs methods, if he fully exerted himself to conceal and transform his qi, even a 9th realm powerhouse would not detect him. Thanks to this skill, Situ the Protector did well inside the Tianjian sect and gained access to a lot of intelligence. Before Xiahou Yuan emerged from the Great Abyss, Nuan Shu led the remaining demon followers in avoiding the encirclement and assassination attempts by the righteous forces several times, largely due to the information passed on by Situ the Protector. It was because of Situ the Protector's support within the Tianjian sect that Nuan Shu and the other demons survived through that most difficult time. After Lin Yuan emerged from the Great Abyss and took over the underground palace, subduing the 9 demon lords once again, Nuan Shu then sent word to Situ the Protector, telling him to return and that he no longer needed to hide in the Tianjian sect, fraught with danger. However, up to the present, Nuan Shu had not received any response from Situ the Protector. Could he have been discovered by the Tianjian sect? Nuan Shu speculated in her heart but then shook her head, dismissing the idea. She held Situ the Protector's life fire, which indicated his life and death. Given Situ the Protector's loyalty to the Demon Lord, if discovered by the Tianjian sect, he would definitely commit suicide without hesitation. Even if he didn't commit suicide, if captured alive by the Tianjian sect, they wouldn't leave him alive after a soul search. Either outcome would certainly extinguish Situ the Protector's life fire. Since the life fire was still burning, it indicated that Situ the Protector was safe for the time being, at least still alive. Hopefully nothing untoward happens. Nuan Shu sighed. Over the years, Situ the Protector had risked his life hiding within the Tianjian sect to rescue the Demon Lord. Now that the Demon Lord had returned, if he could come back alive, his status would at least be no lower than hers. Tianjian sect. Mist drifted aimlessly. It was like an immortal realm. A middle-aged man with an honest face walked along the mountain path, his gaze betraying a hint of anxiousness. Tianjianzi has broken into the 10th realm, yet he deliberately seals off all information. Hiding within the gates of the mountain with other powerful figures from the 5 domains, he must be trying to lure the revered figure to come here on his own initiative. The man with the honest face thought to himself in silence. He was none other than Situ, the Protector, who had been hiding his true identity within the Tianjian sect for decades, treading on thin ice until today. Although he was but a disciple and had not taken part in Tianjian's secretive discussions with the powerful fighters of the 5 domains, he had guessed quite a bit from all the abnormalities revealed by the Tianjian sect over the years, and the terrifying aura that had pervaded a decade ago. No, this won't do. I must get out. And tell the revered figure not to come to Tianjian sect at all costs. Situ, the Protector, steadied his spirit and began to ponder carefully. Other than delivering the crucial information, Situ was even more aware that his identity could not be concealed for much longer. In recent years, Tianjian's dreadful sensory perception had enveloped the entire Tianjian sect multiple times, brushing past Situ on several occasions. Situ had a feeling that if this happened a few more times, Tianjianzi might very likely detect something unusual about him. Cida's skill at concealing his presence could fool someone of the 9th realm, but for someone like Tianjianzi who was of the 10th realm. If it weren't for his good performance in recent years and Tianjianzi not paying close attention to him, his identity would have likely been exposed several years earlier. Sidu did not fear death, but what he feared was that upon his death, the revered figure would fall into the schemes of Tianjin's sect. He'll have to try that secret passage. Sidu made up his mind. Tianjianzi, in hopes of a successful ambush, had the whole Tianjin sect sealed off, forbidding anyone to enter or leave. Situ, like any other disciple, was no exception. It wasn't simply the blocking of all exits, but over the years Situ had discovered a hidden path leading outside. It was just uncertain whether it could escape Tianjian's perception. However, Situ now had no choice. He could only take the risk and try. At the summit of Tianjin Peak, Tianjianzi and the other powerful beings all showed signs of impatience. 10 years had passed. A full decade they had been lying in wait here. Yet Xiahou Yuan just wouldn't take the bait and had not come to seek revenge. If it weren't for those present who had personally experienced the righteous demonic battle 3 or 4 decades earlier, and knew how Bai Qing'er had broken Xiahou Yuan's spirit, a feud that could only end with the death of one side, they would perhaps have suspected that Xiahou Yuan had already abandoned his vendetta. Sect leader, what exactly is going on with Xiahou Yuan? One of the 9th realm powerhouses asked in a low voice. Having come to the Tianjin sect and stayed for 10 years, his own forces must have been affected. Yes, sect leader, is Xiahou Yuan coming or not? If not, we're leaving. The other powerhouses in the area spoke out one after another. Although they hadn't been treated badly at the Tianjin sect, everyone had families and forces that needed managing and overseeing. Being absent for a whole decade was unacceptable to anyone. It was only because of Tianjin's high prestige as a once in tens of thousands of years 10th realm being that the others had not yet left. Everyone, please be patient. Tianjinzi opened his eyes, his expression calm as he said, the later he comes, the more it suggests that Xiahou Yuan has been seriously injured. If you cannot even wait for 10 years, how can we talk about dealing with Xiahou Yuan? At this, Tianjinzi paused for a moment, then continued, however, I believe that Xiahou Yuan should be arriving soon. Tianjin's words, like a calming anchor, gave the others a great deal of confidence. Well then. If the sect leader says so, we will wait a few more years. True, honestly, unless I see Xiahou Yuan's corpse, I won't dare leave. Haha, well said. The expressions of the many powerhouses relaxed, and on second thought, staying within the Tianjin sect was not too bad, especially since it supplied heavenly earth vital energy superior to that of their own forces. Tianjinzi glanced at the many powerhouses. He too was somewhat anxious, but letting go of this opportunity and allowing the powerhouses to leave would likely lead to the news of his breakthrough to the 10th realm being leaked. Then how could Xiahou Yuan possibly dare to come? Just as Tianjinzi was about to speak again, suddenly, Tianjin's brows furrowed. He looked towards a certain area outside the mountain gate. Chapter 162 Welcoming the Demon Lord back to the 5 domains. Please subscribe. Compared to the champions of the 9th realm, the champions of the 10th realm had substantially heightened perception. Take Tianjinzi for instance. Should he choose, his divine sense could envelop the entire Tianjin sect. During the period when the mountains were sealed, Tianjinzi, to ensure absolutely no leakage of information, covered it constantly with his own divine sense. Under such a method, even if a mere fly were to leave the range of the Tianjin sect, Tianjinzi would be aware. And just moments ago, Tianjinzi keenly sensed a very weak presence, quickly leaving the Tianjin sect through a secret passageway. Seeking death. Tianjinzi sneered. Immediately, under the shocked gazes of the other strong ones, Tianjinzi raised his right hand and flicked his finger. Boom. A terrifying sword intent gathered, turning into a palm-sized little sword, which only appeared for a moment, then vanished from its original place. At the edge of the Tianjin sect's mountain gate, Situ, extremely cautious, desperately concealed his aura, walking quickly forward. Almost. Just a little more, and he'll have left the Tianjin sect. Cida's breathing was almost imperceptible. Suddenly, a terrifying sword intent locked onto him. Not good. Cida's expression drastically changed. His speed suddenly surged in an attempt to dodge the sword intent. But it was already too late. The strike of a 10th realm champion was not something easily avoided. Swoosh. A palm-sized little sword suddenly pierced through Cida's chest. Cida's eyes widened. He could feel his life force draining away at a terrifying rate. Tiny fragments of dreadful sword intent continuously stirred through his chest, shattering his limbs and primordial spirit. I can't die. Sida's eyes were bloodshot. In a daze, he seemed to see the tall man who picked him up from a city filled with corpses over 200 years ago. Back then, the demon lord was in his prime, snapping his fingers and annihilating many strong ones, while he himself was in rags, lowly as dust. If not for the demon lord, he would have died long ago. If not for the demon lord, he would not have his today. In the blink of an eye, more than 200 years had passed, and everything from the past seemed like a dream. Before I meet the Lord, I cannot die. Situ suddenly erupted with a fierce will to live and without hesitation triggered the forbidden demonic Tao technique dismantling burning god skill. Once activated, the dismantling burning god skill would uncontrollably incinerate his physical body, primordial spirit and everything else, until completely turning into nothingness. Meanwhile, the user would endure unimaginable pain. Of course, the effects were also very good, as during this forbidden technique, the user's speed would increase 10-fold or even 100-fold. And as time passed, the more the physical body and primordial spirit burned, the faster the speed would become. In fact, almost all demon lords, preferring to die by their own hands, would not activate this forbidden technique. After all, once the dismantling burning god skill was activated, it could not be reversed, and the physical body, primordial spirit and everything else would quickly dissolve into nothingness. That is to say, once this forbidden technique was activated, even if one escaped death initially, one was still destined to die. Before death, one would still have to endure the endless pain caused by the burning of one's own body. So, this forbidden technique was somewhat like a double-edged sword. Although widely known, it was rarely seen used by any demon lord. What's the point? At Tianjian main peak, Tianjianzi seemed to perceive something, a look of surprise crossing his face. The dismantling burning god skill? Tianjianzi naturally sensed the aura of this forbidden technique. After a moment of thought, Tianjianzi decided to let Situ the Protector leave. Firstly, once this forbidden technique had been deployed, death was inevitable, and Situ the Protector had already sustained a strike from him earlier and could hardly last much longer. Secondly, even if Tianjianzi wanted to pursue, it wasn't certain he could catch up. In just these few moments, Situ the Protector had already fled hundreds of miles away, his speed becoming faster and faster, nearly out of control. Even if Situ wanted to stop, he couldn't, and eventually he would turn into nothingness at high speed. Therefore there was no need to pursue. Merely an ant. No need to pay attention. Tianjianzi slightly shook his head, addressing the curiosities of other powerful figures on the scene. His sudden action naturally drew the gaze of these powerful figures, and now an explanation was also appropriate. Deep inside the Tianjian sect, a beautiful valley. Bai Qing'er sat on a giant rock, her white and delicate legs gently swinging, causing ripples to spread. Big brother Xiahou, will you come to find me? Bai Qing'er's gaze was directed towards the Tianjian main peak. She naturally was aware of Tianjian's scheme, and at this moment Bai Qing'er was extremely conflicted. She hoped for Xiahou Yuan to come because it would mean that Xiahou Yuan still had feelings for her. Even if it was hatred, it was still an emotion. However, with Tianjian's scheme, if Xiahou Yuan dared to come near, he was undoubtedly doomed to die. Bai Qing'er now hoped Xiahou Yuan would not die. Big brother Xiahou, if you do come, I will plead with the sect leader to leave your whole body. Then you would always be with Qing'er, Bai Qing'er murmured to herself, a happy smile appearing on her face. Next to the palace of Earth Spirit Spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, still cultivating and pursuing enlightenment, nearly all his time in each traversed world devoted to cultivation. As for enjoyment? With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan was always bursting with spiritual light, making progress every moment in his cultivation and understanding of the Tao and the world. For Lin Yuan this was the greatest pleasure. Xianhuang, Lin Yuan delved into the Xianhuang evolutionary path. By now, he had reached the 5th stage section in this evolution path. However, just for that reason, the difficulty of further comprehension skyrocketed. After all, Lin Yuan was already at the 5th rank, and comprehending the 4th and 3rd ranks below from a higher vantage point, even without against heaven's understanding, would still be somewhat effective. Chapter 163 Welcoming the Demon Lord back to the 5 domains. Please subscribe. The Tao of Xianhuang is the Tao of heaven and earth. Lin Yuan contemplated carefully, often observing the natural world and integrating it with his own verification. The martial path evolutionary path could indeed be improved further. If Yin God, Yang Spirit and Taiji Primordial Spirit cannot be perfected, then perfect the physical body. As Lin Yuan cultivated, the aura emanating from him became obscure and complex, as if transforming into a black hole or resembling the black and white patterns of a taiji symbol. Suddenly, the aura around Lin Yuan surged. As if he had transcended some kind of shackles, his physical vitality and his soul and spirit both rose. 5th rank, 3rd segment. Lin Yuan breathed out gently, a smile appearing on his face. Compared to the current world's cultivation system, 5th rank, 3rd segment, would roughly equate to the 12th realm peak, infinitely close to the 13th realm. 12th realm peak. Infinitely close to the 13th realm. Heaven would have pity. If the other cultivators of this world knew of this, they would probably feel ashamed enough to hit the wall. For tens of thousands of years, the strongest were merely at 10th realm. As for the 11th realm, probably only in the ancient times did such a level appear. The 12th realm was even unheard of. But Lin Yuan was already starting to touch upon the 13th realm. Wait a few more years until I fully step into the 13th realm, then I'll flatten Tianjin sect. Lin Yuan's thoughts were calm, thinking to himself. Although he wasn't Xiahou Yuan, since his consciousness had descended into this body, some cause and effect naturally needed to be resolved. Besides, even if Lin Yuan wanted to laugh off past grudges, it would depend on whether Tianjin sect was willing. According to the intentions of the Supreme Elder from Jianghu sect, Tianjin sect and many powerhouses from the 5 domains were secretly plotting against him, Xiahou Yuan. The rules of this world, Lin Yuan looked up, observing his surroundings. Although it was not as efficient as in the Divine Arms world, where one could directly observe the manifested fundamental rules of divine weapons. But comprehending the rules of this world at least proved to be much stronger than the main world. The origin source of the main world is powerful, its rules well established and operating to perfection, which makes it extraordinarily difficult for evolvers to comprehend the essence of these rules. Yet in worlds that he traversed with a weaker origin source, even though the rules were not substantial, Lin Yuan could comprehend them here and then go back to slowly make up for it in the main world. I've heard that within some cosmic secret realms, independent of the main world, the operation of rules is explicitly revealed, and comprehending the rules there is far more efficient than in the outside world. As the 13th disciple of Chiquan Star Lord, Lin Yuan already had access to high-end information from the main world. This included the cosmic secret realms. Cosmic secret realms, similar to minor worlds, come in many varieties, with some even inhabited by powerful beings. Each cosmic secret realm is a treasure of human civilization, especially those with explicitly revealed rules suitable for rule comprehension, which are rare treasures indeed. In the future, I can ask the teacher about the cosmic secret realms. Lin Yuan thought to himself. As long as Lin Yuan continues to reveal his talent and capabilities, there's no fear that human civilization will not pour resources his way, such as the treatment for geniuses. With 3 goddesses present, a genius at most would only hide their identity, never suffering any repression or targeting. The next day, Lin Yuan ended his cultivation. Sitting atop the main seat of the Great Hall, listening to the reports from Nuan Shu and 9 demon lords. Honored one, there has been no news from Tianjin sect so far. From the 5 domains, demon chiefs are continuously coming to submit, but so far, there are no demons of the 8th realm and above pledging allegiance. Nuan Shu spoke swiftly. Lin Yuan sat leisurely upon the primary seat, listening casually. As to why no demons of the 8th realm and above had come, Lin Yuan naturally understood. These demon chiefs dominated territories, claiming to be kings and warlords. Why would they come to serve under Lin Yuan? A few years ago, when Lin Yuan took over the underground palace, he subdued the Moyang demon lord and other 9 ninth realm demon lords with swift decisiveness, offering no chance for these 9 to escape. Naturally, this was also related to the fact that Lin Yuan had hardly shown himself in action in front of others since leaving the Great Abyss Ground. The only time was outside the Great Abyss Ground when he crushed Jianghu, a peak 8th realm powerhouse, with one hand. But after that, whether it was subduing young generation demon chiefs like Bian Mao or the 9 demon lords like Moyang demon lord, the news did not spread out. This caused the outside world's demon chiefs to start hesitating. These wastes, the honored one is already out, and yet they do not come to pay homage, they all deserve to die. Moyang demon lord and the other 9 demon lords felt somewhat bitter, then became furious. They had already submitted, so why were those weaker 8th realm demons still roaming free? Nuan Shu stood by the side about to speak. Suddenly, Nuan Shu's expression subtly changed. Honored one, there is a change in the life fire. Nuan Shu looked immediately at Lin Yuan. Let's go take a look. Lin Yuan remained composed. Nuan Shu quickly left the hall. Before long, Nuan Shu held a candle in her hand. At this moment, the candle's flame was so weak, flickering slowly as if it might go out at any time. This is Citus life fire. Nuan Shu's expression was grave. Situ the Protector? Moyang Demon Lord and a few other demon lords glanced at Lin Yuan from the corner of their eyes. It was well known that Nuan and Situ were the two most loyal to Xiahou Yuan. Even though Xiahou Yuan had been suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, these two had done everything possible to rescue him. Especially Situ, the Protector, who had even ventured into the Tianjin sect to gather more information perhaps. It's Situ. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly solemn as he looked towards the candle in Nuan Shu's hand, the one that could go out at any time. In Lin Yuan's sight, the aura of the candle started to spread, connecting with a certain location in the distance. Situ is now within 100 miles. Lin Yuan stood up. The candle in Nuan Shu's hand flew up into the air, landing in Lin Yuan's hand. The Protector Situ has returned? Nuan Shu was slightly startled, not quite understanding. As far as she knew, wasn't Situ the Protector at the Tianjin sect? If he had escaped from the Tianjin sect, he would have sent a message ahead of time. He has already arrived. Lin Yuan caught the life fire and vanished on the spot. Outside the underground palace, a meteor was speeding towards the spot. If one looked carefully, they would notice that the meteor had almost faded into nothingness, with just a bit of spiritual soul force still burning. Whoosh! Lin Yuan appeared before the meteor. If it were anyone else, even peak powerhouses of the 9th or 10th realm, they would have difficulty blocking this meteor. Because the speed of this meteor had reached an extreme, surpassing the full speed run of 10th realm powerhouses. Yet with a push of Lin Yuan's right hand, the meteor came to a halt in its place. Rise. Lin Yuan's brows were tightly knotted. This meteor was none other than Situ the Protector. At this time, his physical body and flesh had long been burned to nothing, leaving only a sliver of primordial spirit force hanging on. Condense. Lin Yuan's thoughts moved ever so slightly. A vast amount of heavenly earth vital energy gathered. Continuously turning into a gentle breath, it was infused into the meager remnants of Citus primordial spirit. Instantly, around the center of this sliver of primordial spirit force, a phantom figure rapidly coalesced. However, one could see the phantom figure taking shape, only to continue burning away. Your Excellency, Situ the Protector wore a pained expression, regaining a trace of consciousness as if he felt Lin Yuan's true strength, and his face showed a hint of relief. Suddenly, Citus' lips moved and he spoke a few words. At this moment, Nuan Shu and Moyang Demon Lord arrived outside the underground palace and witnessed this scene. A moment later, Lin Yuan once again gathered heavenly earth vital energy. However, the burning speed of Situ the Protector accelerated more and more rapidly. Ultimately, Citus' face displayed a look of resignation and relief, and he completely dissipated into nothingness under the endless burning. Lin Yuan stood in place, seemingly in thought, motionless. Gathering her courage, Nuan Shu stepped closer, cautiously asking, "Your Excellency, what did Situ the Protector say at the end?" Naturally, Nuan Shu was aware that Situ the Protector's entire body burning was the signature of the dismantling burning god skill. Wasn't it said that the use of this forbidden technique was excruciatingly painful? Why did Situ the Protector end up smiling at the end? He said 2 sentences. Lin Yuan spoke in an even tone. The first sentence had 12 characters. In death, to have seen your Excellency, I die without regrets. Lin Yuan floated in the air, his sleeves billowing as he reviewed Xiahou Yuan's memories, revisiting every detail about Situ the Protector. So it was that little beggar. Lin Yuan's thoughts receded as he looked up towards the Tianjin sect, then turned and went back to the underground palace. The second sentence had 8 characters, awaiting the demon lord's return to the 5 domains. Chapter 164 The Great Movements of Heaven and Earth. The Child of Destiny. The dismantling burning god skill is known as a forbidden technique. Once employed, it cannot be reversed. The physical body and primordial spirit will quickly burn out, turning into nothingness. Actually, this description isn't entirely accurate. Irreversible, that part is correct. Even Lin Yuan would find it difficult to forcibly stop it. Using heavenly earth vital energy to recreate the primordial spirit is merely a transient solution, merely prolonging the endless suffering of the caster. Thus just now Lin Yuan allowed Situ the Protector to burn into oblivion. But the last statement, that every aspect of the physical body and primordial spirit would burn out, is not accurate. At least after Situ the Protector turned to nothingness, Lin Yuan had already preemptively captured a strand of pure spiritual power. In the underground palace, beside the vitality spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. In front of him, a strand of pure spiritual power floated. Outside this spiritual power, Taiyin and Taiyang merged into Taiji, isolating heaven and earth, completely separating this strand of pure spiritual power from the outer macrocosm. Without such a method of isolating heaven and earth, this strand of pure spiritual power would have dissipated the moment it was exposed. The current cultivators believe that the dismantling burning God skill burns everything of the physical body and primordial spirit, and that's also correct. Because apart from Lin Yuan, nobody could capture this strand of pure spiritual power. Even if they were at the peak of the 12th realm, or were even unprecedented 13th realm powerhouses, they would almost certainly be unable to do it. This isn't a matter of strength. It's about how systems of cultivation and personal methods combine. Lin Yuan's martial path evolutionary path, integrating myriad paths, is perfect in every aspect. As for other cultivators, they simply could not have the encounters and experiences of Lin Yuan, nor the against heaven's understanding to achieve integration. Hence they remain at the 9th realm, 10th realm. This strand of pure spiritual power, could it be something essential like a true spirit? Lin Yuan thought to himself. For Lin Yuan, as long as the essence of the true spirit remains, he wouldn't consider it true death. How should I nurture it? Lin Yuan fell into thought. This essence of the true spirit is extremely fragile. If nurtured directly with heavenly earth vital energy, it would turn to ash in the next moment. Let's foster it in the 5-colored lotus for now. Lin Yuan's mind slightly moved, slowly integrating this essence of the true spirit into a nearby lotus displaying 5 colors. The 5-colored lotus, a rare spiritual plant of this realm. When Lin Yuan discovered this vitality spring, there were more than a dozen extraordinary flowers and herbs nearby, including the 5-colored lotus. When Lin Yuan advanced to the 5th rank, he consumed most of these extraordinary flowers and herbs, with only a few like the 5-colored lotus remaining. The 5-colored lotus has a mild nature and is miraculous in nurturing spirits. It is perfectly suitable for fostering the extremely fragile essence of the true spirit. Accompanied by the essence of the true spirit of Situ, the protector, merging into the 5-colored lotus, Lin Yuan distinctly felt the essence of the true spirit stabilized, and immediately began to slowly draw on the medicinal power of the 5-colored lotus, gradually growing stronger. Good. After nurturing it for a few years, this strand of true spirit essence should recover to the strength of a normal person. Lin Yuan slightly nodded. Once it reached that stage, the consciousness of Situ, the protector, would naturally revive. The rest was merely about finding a suitable body for him. Lin Yuan looked at the 5-colored lotus in front of him. Indeed, no need to search for a body. Isn't this 5-colored lotus the best carrier right now? Lin Yuan's face showed a hint of unusual color. With the vision of the main world universe starry sky, Lin Yuan understood that life is definitely not limited to the human race. In the vast, boundless main world universe starry skies, aside from the human race, many other powerful peak races exist. They might be plant life, elemental life, energy life, etc. Given that this 5-colored lotus, if Situ, the protector, could embrace all aspects of the 5-colored lotus, it would definitely be a great opportunity. Not to mention, life forms like these plants are famous for their longevity. Of course, even if Situ, the protector, couldn't accept it, it wouldn't be a problem with Lin Yuan around. It would merely be about finding another suitable body. Time slowly passed. Before long, several years had elapsed. Lin Yuan had hardly ever left the underground palace, always immersed in cultivation and enlightenment. Heaven and earth. Lin Yuan appeared thoughtful, feeling faintly that this realm's heaven and earth were extremely vast, seemingly not just limited to the 5 domains. Could it be, beyond the 5 domains, there are new great realms and continents? Lin Yuan pondered. Before his transition, he had split a thread of his consciousness to roughly observe the overall view of this realm, catching only a fleeting glimpse without paying much attention, only seeing the most conspicuous 5 continents. However, the fortunes of this heavenly and earthly realm are clearly beginning to burgeon. Is it due to my influence? Lin Yuan's thoughts shifted. The so-called fortunes of heaven and earth are profound and more profound. Lin Yuan had crossed 3 or 4 worlds before he somewhat understood this. To summarize, it can be said that when time and tide are right, all forces align. In a state where the fortunes of heaven and earth are burgeoning, the frequency of geniuses and powerhouses emerging would be much higher. Even the bottlenecks and constraints in cultivation would relax and loosen without a sound. Generally speaking, it's rare for a realm to be in such a state. It might not happen even once in tens of thousands of years. Lin Yuan seemed to have discovered something, looking up towards a not-too-distant place. There was a lotus displaying 5 colors, currently swaying gently. Is the consciousness reviving? Lin Yuan had an idea, having nurtured it for several years. The essence of the true spirit of Situ, the protector, had grown rapidly and was now on the brink of consciousness revival. They'll have a look. Lin Yuan stood before the five-colored lotus, observing carefully. I didn't die? Situ Ming was somewhat dazed, having prepared for death after deploying the dismantling burning god skill. Chapter 165 The Great Movements of Heaven and Earth, Child of Qi Luck under... Situ Ming only hoped, before death, he could meet the Esteemed One and inform him of the Tianjin sect's plans. But unfortunately, with the continual use of the dismantling burning god skill, Situ Ming's speed became faster and faster, and in the end he not only had to endure endless pain, but he couldn't even stop. However, just when Situ Ming was in utter despair, he saw the Esteemed One appear before him, and even made an attempt to save him. It was at that moment Situ Ming vaguely perceived the Esteemed One's terrifying strength, an aura so vast that even Tianjin Zi, who had already stepped into the 10th realm, was far inferior. Situ Ming died with no regrets. But now, Situ Ming attempted to perceive his surroundings. To his surprise, he found that he was now a lotus. A lotus that displayed 5 colors. Esteemed One. Situ Ming's perception continued to spread out. He discovered a tall man appearing before him. And this tall man was none other than his Esteemed One. There's no need to worry. Right now, your soul and primordial spirit are nourished within the 5-colored lotus. Try your best to merge with the 5-colored lotus and take control of everything about it. Lin Yuan spoke, his voice gentle. Becoming the main consciousness of the 5-colored lotus was not an easy task. Even if a strong person from this world were to escape with their primordial spirit and seek a new host, they usually chose another member of the human race. As for using a certain plant as a host, not to mention whether it was possible, even if it succeeded, what would one do afterward? Simply become a plant? Yet Lin Yuan was different. In the main world he had a complete series of secret techniques, namely the seizure secret technique. The Chikuan Star Lord of the past had seized a juvenile starry sky wanderer Kuan, which led to his later valiant achievements. Yes, Situ Ming had a natural submission to Lin Yuan and immediately began trying to merge with the 5-colored lotus, replacing its main consciousness. Good. Seeing this, Lin Yuan nodded slightly. His aid to Situ Ming was actually a kind of test. Moreover, if Situ Ming truly could become the master of the 5-colored lotus, his lifespan would at least explode to several thousand or even tens of thousands of years. It would also count as Lin Yuan's contingency in this world. Tianjin Mountain. Tianjin Zi and many strong ones were becoming increasingly irritable. What's going on with Xiahou Yuan? Is he coming for revenge or not? Why has there been no movement for so many years? Even if he was seriously injured from being suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, but it's been more than a decade, hasn't he recovered? Aren't demonic practitioners best at healing injuries? Can't they just kill some people, extract their essence and origin source and be done with it? What exactly is going on? Could it be that Xiahou Yuan knows I've had a breakthrough, so he dares not come? Tianjin Zi was reflecting. He realized that for all these years he had been sitting on Tianjin Mountain like a fool. It wasn't just him, even the others of the 5 domains were also waiting together. That shouldn't be it? For over a decade I have blockaded the Tianjin sect. It was only a few years ago that the little demon went out. But after getting hit by my attack plus activating the dismantling burning god skill, he could only keep flying, getting faster and faster, until he eventually dissipated into nothing, unable to stop at all. How could he have passed on any messages? Tianjin Zi was puzzled. But at this point all he could do was to continue waiting. After waiting for more than a decade, if he stopped now, wouldn't it mean that they were mistaken all these years? How could that be? Do not panic, everyone. I believe Xiahou Yuan will come soon. We just need to endure a little longer. Tianjin Zi spoke, encouraging the many impatient strong ones present. Meanwhile, as the majority of the strong ones in the 5 domains were still stuck on Tianjin Mountain, hoping to catch their prey and waiting for Xiahou Yuan to come for revenge, they were unaware that subtle changes were starting to occur in the world. Within a bustling city, a small beggar looked at a middle-aged man selling books, eagerly staring at a tattered booklet on the shelf. Scram, 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 where did this little beggar come from? The book-selling middle-aged man waved his hand, his face full of disgust. I want that book. The small beggar mustered the courage to approach, pointing at the tattered book on the shelf. 10 copper coins, do you have it? The middle-aged man said, annoyed. 10 copper coins. I don't have. The small beggar shrunk back a little. But I have 2 copper coins. The small beggar's right hand fumbled in his pocket and brought out 2 copper coins. You actually have money? The middle-aged man was taken aback slightly. He immediately picked up the worn-out booklet and tossed it to the little beggar. I'm in a good mood today, so I'm selling it to you at a discount. In fact, he had fished out these booklets from a bookstore that was about to close, for just a few pennies each. The little beggar couldn't produce 2 pennies, let alone 1, but he would have sold it to him anyway. Thank you. The little beggar hugged the tattered booklet to his chest, placed the 2 pennies on the bookshelf and hopped away. Idiot. The middle-aged man watched the little beggar's retreating figure with a hint of mockery. An old temple. The little beggar studied the booklet intently. Refining spirit decree? The little beggar mimicked the movements of the little figures illustrated in the booklet. Unbeknownst to him, heavenly earth vital energy slowly began to converge. It slowly merged into the little beggar's body. In just one day the little beggar had stepped into the first realm. At a cliff's edge. A young man was being chased by dozens of men in black. Even if I die, I will become a ghost and come back for revenge. Filled with deep resentment, the young man leaped off the cliff. He didn't know how much time had passed. The young man woke from unconsciousness. Where is this? The young man found himself stopped by a tree trunk growing at the edge of the precipice. Not far away on the nearly smooth cliff face, there appeared a pitch-dark hole that was clearly man-made. Assessing his situation, the young man realized that his only hope of survival was to enter that hole. So he struggled toward the cave entrance. Good for nothing. Where is the talent you showed 3 years ago? For 3 whole years, not being able to sense the heavenly earth vital energy to form a primordial chi vortex inside your body, do you still have the face to continue using the clan's cultivation resources? An old man with a white beard was scolding a young boy. The boy hung his head, grinding his teeth. Unnoticed by others, a faint glimmer suddenly flashed across the black ring on his right hand. As the great tides of heaven and earth surge forth, countless opportunities will arise, and many talents will emerge. Among them, the strongest talents can be called children of fate. Within the underground palace, though Lin Yuan had not gone out, he vaguely sensed the changes in the world. Such changes were profound, and even Lin Yuan felt shocked and amazed. Just then, not far away, the 5-colored lotus suddenly withered. Underground, the lotus root of the 5-colored lotus was taking shape indistinctly. A humanoid figure emerged from the ground. Composed entirely of lotus root, the figure came out and immediately knelt down, saying reverently to Lin Yuan, "Situ Ming pays respects to my lord." Get up. Lin Yuan thought for a moment. He lifted his right hand and a slight wound appeared. Then a drop of blood that looked like mercury, vibrant red, fell onto Situ Ming's lotus root body. Suddenly the blood dispersed and dissolved. Situ Ming's lotus root form began to change rapidly. Flesh, skin, limbs and facial features grew. Not long after, a child of about 10 years old appeared. This? Situ Ming's eyes widened. Just the ability to escape from the 5-colored lotus and crawl from underground had already made him overjoyed. But now, with just a drop of blood bestowed casually by his lord, he had transformed into a real human being? Such means? Were they any different from the divine powers in the myths of gods creating humans? Thank you, my lord. Situ Ming knelt once again, expressing his gratitude. It's nothing. Lin Yuan waved his hand and observed the changes in Situ Ming. He then continued, you may enter the world now. With the great movements of heaven and earth, opportunities are countless. Go and find one that belongs to you. Understood, my lord. Situ Ming promptly responded. He always executed his lord's suggestions to the letter. Before leaving, Situ Ming seemed to remember something and asked hesitantly, should I bring back those opportunities, my lord? No need. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. With a profound look, he said, I no longer need those opportunities. You're tuning in to the Phantom Sword Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.